shall touch faith.
Good morning. The slides. Thank you. How's everyone this morning? You know, I was in the green room there and I was thinking, if everyone here could get half of what I've got out of this material, you're going to be just so happy. No, honest to God, every now and then, as I go through the day, I have what's called gratitude breaks. And I find this is a good way to keep me on track. But I think of all the good things that happened to me in my life. And over the past 50 years, I've had some absolutely phenomenal things happen. And they keep getting better. I think better is a nice word. It doesn't matter how good it is, it can get better. Now, unfortunately, there's some people, they think it keeps getting worse. And I know what they're like because I lived there for quite a long time. And it's not a fun way to live. It's not necessary. But the people that are there don't know that. They really don't know. And I believe it's our obligation to help them understand that. You know, just as I said that, I thought of something that I haven't really talked about for actually a few years. Some of you are familiar with it. It's Plato's analogy of people prisoners in an underground cave. And it's such a beautiful way of explaining why people don't get this. Build the picture with me. I want you to imagine prisoners in an underground cave. Get the picture in your mind. These prisoners are chained in this cave against a wall. They can't move. They're not even able to turn their heads sideways. They're locked in the cave. And they're forced to stare at the wall that's in front of them. Now there's a mouse to the cave, so light shines in from the outside. Above and behind the prisoner is a screen like what you would use to show puppets. And beyond the screen, there's a fire burning. And then beyond the fire, there's people walking, and they're carrying vessels and statues and objects. The shadows of these prisoners and the vessels and the statues and the objects, the shadows of the flames, and the shadows of the prisoner themselves, yes, being cast upon the wall of the cave that the prisoner has been forced to stare at since birth. This is all they know. Now, the sound of the people talking appear to be coming from the wall of the cave. So the truth then to the prisoner would be nothing but shadows on the wall of the cave that are talking. Now, if they were loosened and able to turn, wouldn't the light hurt their eyes? Wouldn't they prefer to look away at the dark? And then they were told, listen, this is real, that's false. They say, no way, that's real, that's false. Now, if the prisoner were freed, then forced to climb a steep and rugged ascent up out of the cave, wouldn't they first be blinded by the daylight? And when they could see, what would they see? Well, they would probably see the shadows of things or the reflection of things in the water. And then, standing in the sunlight and beholding the sun, don't you think they'd give anything to keep from returning to their fellow prisoners back in the cave? Now, if they were told there's a contest going on in the cave, and the prisoner that can most accurately identify the moving objects on the wall would win, do you think the freed prisoner would care for such honors any longer? This is why people reject the truth. That's Plato's way of explaining why they can't accept what we're talking about. That's real. This is false. See, when you go out and you tell people, if they can see it in their mind, they can hold it in their hand. They'll say, you shouldn't go to those places. Did you pay to go there? I mean, you're going to get really screwed up if you keep going there. And then Harry, come here. Tell him what you just told me. And Harry'd laugh. You know. We have to understand why they're laughing. They really think this is nonsense. Now, as Plato said, it's our responsibility to return back to the cave and try and educate the prisoners. So that's our responsibility. Now, I see it today I really see it as a real responsibility. That's the way I live, that's the way I think. I didn't always. I was just in the beginning, so excited about this, I just wanted to share it with everybody. I want everybody to get it. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I had been broke all the time. I never had any money. I was always in debt. And I've said it so many times, I was earning $4,000 a year, but I owed $6,000. And I didn't owe it in one place. I owed it all over the place. 100 here, 500 there. And so they were always calling, and I'd say, tell them I'm not here, tell them I'm not here. You know, yeah, they've done it, you see. Somebody recognizes that. I wouldn't have lent me money because I knew I wasn't going to pay it back. It's not that I was trying to cheat people. I just never had enough to pay it back. I never had enough money. I was always trying to hit somebody up for a couple of dollars for gas. Now, that's when you could get 5 gallons for $2. It was 40 cents a gallon. Somebody think I was living on another planet. And when it started to change, it changed so fast that I had a hard time believing it was real. I remember watching James Cagney being interviewed one time. He was one of my favorite actors. God, I love that guy in movies. And he never watched a movie of himself. I don't watch any of my own work. I don't listen to it either. So I understand why he didn't. But in his interview, he said he never thought it would last. He never thought, I guess, life was pretty good for James Cagney, but he never thought it would last, but it did. Well, I went through that stage where I didn't think it would last. I thought it's going to stop, because I didn't even understand what was happening. For a long time I didn't understand, but I was so jazzed, I was so excited, I wanted everybody to know it, to get it, to have it. And I didn't see it as an obligation to share it. I was just so excited and enthused about it, I wanted everybody to get a little bit of it. Today I see it as an obligation. I see it different. I see it like Plato said, it's our obligation to go back into the cave. The trick is you just don't let them get to you. And if you're on a bit of a low swing, rhythm is a law of the universe, and Catholics here understand that better than the Protestants, but it's real. And you'll be on a bit of a low swing, and if you're on a low swing, if you're on that then your mind will sort of be in tune sometime with the negativity. So you got to be careful. You know, you got to be vigilant. You've got to know what you're doing. Now, we have found a great way to do this, to keep ourselves on track. And the journal that you're going to get when you leave, I hope you're going to love it. I love it. I think it's phenomenal. I did not, I'm not responsible for it. Gina and I were working, putting this program together, and Gina came up with the idea, and she phoned Mikey, and Mikey said, well, we've been working on something like that. So somebody else in the company was doing. Anyway, it was all done, and it's really good, and it's very simple. But what we're going to talk about here is a part of that journal. And we're going to talk to you about now something that we want to recommend that you get involved in every day. Not just some days, not just Sundays or Wednesdays, every day. And I'm going to call on Ms. Gallagher to come and share it with you. So let's give Sandy a big hand. Sandy Gallagher, where are you? Here she is.
Thank you. Morning. I love that song. Money. What did Bob say yesterday? You got to invite it, right? You guys, are you awake? I should have you get up and sing the money dance. Okay, maybe later. Are you guys ready for today? Yeah? It's going to be an awesome, awesome day. And what we're going to start with is attitude and gratitude. We want to be in the attitude of gratitude. Now, I want you to think about why we want to be in an attitude of gratitude. When you're feeling like something's going wrong, like you get up, you go out to your car, you get a flat tire, you spill coffee on your outfit, the day's just getting worse and you're just feeling in a bad vibration, right? So what are you attracting? What? Yeah, you're not attracting what you want. But when you're in an attitude of gratitude, and like Bob said, he has gratitude breaks. I have moments throughout my day where it's just this overwhelming feeling of gratitude. And I feel it in every cell of my being. And it's such a beautiful vibration. And what that does is it puts you in harmony with the laws. We talked about that yesterday, the art of gold creation. The critical part is putting you in harmony with the natural laws. In other words, putting you in harmony with the good you desire. And that's what gratitude does. And we're going to get into the exercise today, and I really want you to understand it so much so that you have to do this every day, at least once a day. But ideally, you'll put a reminder like on your rear view mirror, in the mirror in your bathroom, on your office desk, to do gratitude. You can stop at any point and do gratitude. And if things aren't going the way you want, if you just say, okay, stop. And usually this happens when you think you have absolutely no time to take a break. But if you just take a split break and you think about what you're grateful for and you really get into the feeling of it, you can shift the entire day. Now, before we get into gratitude, I want you to think about a few things. Look at this picture and imagine it's you and you're interacting with somebody. And I want you to ask yourself, would you like you? Would you like you if you met you? And you might ask yourself that more than once in a day. Like there might be times when you really, you just want to kiss yourself. And there might be times when you're like, I don't want to spend any time with you. And you want to ask yourself, because we have control over that through our thought. And gratitude can get you in that place where you love everything. It's really, really powerful. Keep this in mind. I'm not what has happened to me. I'm not what has happened to me. I'm who and what I choose to become. It's so easy to play the old program, to tell the old story, and think that's who you are. But that's not who you are. You're a perfect expression of spirit. Your spiritual DNA is perfect. And the imperfection, if you will, comes from the programming, which we can change. So you can let go of that old story and choose to become someone else, something else. And I love this. It's not who you are that holds you back. It's who you think you're not. It's not who you are. You have infinite potential. And I'm hoping you're starting to feel some urge within you, something that wants to be expressed in a greater way. That's your spiritual being. It's not who you are. It's who you think you're not. I fell in love with the idea of creating a program with Bob Proctor, but all my mind would chatter to me was the reasons I couldn't do it or shouldn't do it. But it doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are, what kind of degrees you have or don't have, what successes or failures you've had in the past. It doesn't matter. We got to really lock that in. It's who you think you're not that holds you back. Don't let it hold you back. I absolutely love this. I tell people this all the time. Respect yourself enough to walk away from anything that no longer serves you, grows you, or makes you happy. You might want to write that down. And it's about respecting yourself. It's not about what somebody else wants for you. It's about what you want for you. And a deep respect for who you are and why you're here. And if you're involved in something, a job, a relationship, a habit, anything, and you know it doesn't serve you or grow you or make you happy, walk away from it. This is beautiful. Peel off the mask of illusion. Unshackle the chains of expectation. Thinking about what everybody else wants for you. Let them go. Release the ingrained patterns learned. Release those programs that don't serve you. Give up the stories of the past. Let go of the fear. It's never too late to be who you really are. And it's easy to think that it is too late at times. I was in my 40s in that seminar. I'd been practicing law for 20 years. And I thought, how could I just leave that? I mean, that would be ridiculous to just leave that, wouldn't it? You know, what's your situation? What's going on in your head about that? It's never too late to be who you really are. We got to decide that's what we're going to do. Now, it's all in awareness. Think about this. Even just close your eyes for a second and really just visualize a marvelous inner world. It exists within you, right here, right now. And the revelation of such a world enables you to do, to attain, to achieve anything that you desire within the bounds or limits of nature. So think about that. I want you to just imagine this energy, this beautiful, unformed energy is flowing to and through you right now at all times. And everything happens within you, not outside of you. It's happening within you. And this beautiful creative energy is flowing to and through you, and you shape it. You decide what it's going to turn into through your thought. And it truly enables you to have anything that you truly desire. And it's about getting in touch with that desire. What are you hardwired for? What are you meant to do in this world? Because you can do it. And just visualize that. Anytime you feel like you're starting to get a little stuck, just feel that creative energy flowing to and through you and realize and take responsibility for the fact that you're shaping it. And what we want to do all the time is stay consciously connected. We are then conscious of the source and creator of all power and realize and receive the many benefits that surround us. Think about that. There's everything you need right here, right now. Everything you need to have everything that you want. And it's so easy to not see it. In that seminar room, all the reasons I can't do this. And when I look back now, 12 and a half years later, I recognize that all the advantages, all the resources, everything I needed was right there. I didn't see it at all. We want to start tuning into that and recognizing what's here. Now, gratitude enables us to do this. Wallace Wattles has a book, The Science of Getting Rich. And chapter 7 is all about gratitude. And he says the entire process of mental adjustment and atonement can be summed up in one word. What is it? Gratitude. Mental adjustment. Why does he say mental adjustment? Because anytime we're not feeling in harmony, it's what's going on inside our head. And gratitude is so powerful to adjust it just like that. You can just flip the coin and completely change the way you're thinking about it. And what's atonement? What's atonement? It's a letting go. Letting go. Someone does wrong to us, and we get so mad and so frustrated, and we work ourselves into a frenzy. We shift to gratitude, and we just let it go. And why are we letting it go? Because of what's going on with us, what we're attracting when we're in that state. So the entire process of mental adjustment and atonement can be summed up in one word, gratitude. It's extremely powerful. Now, Bob taught me gratitude, November of 2010. And we were doing an event in Phoenix, Arizona. And I remember being in not a very constructive mindset. I had been the CEO of the company since January of 2009. Started out with 19 companies, a lot of challenges. My marriage was breaking up. There were a lot of things I was dealing with. And so I said to Bob, would you have coffee with me? And I just have some things I want to talk to you about. And he said, sure. We sat down for coffee. And I said, Bob, can you give me 3 things I can do that will help me deal with these problems, and not only deal with them, but help me become a better person in the process? And of course he says yes. And he thought for a moment, and he pulls out a napkin, and he gets his pen out, and he starts jotting some things down. And then he calls Gina, and he tells her exactly what he wants. And within an hour, she had created this gratitude pad. And she had my name on it. I had a whole bunch of them. I was going on a vacation to Hawaii with my mom and my sister, and she made them for them too with their name on them. And then Bob explained to me what I was supposed to do with this. And we're going to do this exercise. In fact, we're going to do it every day during this seminar. And what I want you to do is I want you to really pay attention to see if you are improving on how you're doing this exercise. And the way you can tell is how you feel when you're doing it. And what you want to do is you want to feel a real shift within you, a beautiful shift where you just feel so incredibly grateful. So an deep appreciation in every cell of your being. Now the first step, do you guys have your gratitude pads? Have you opened them? Have a look at them. Open up to the first page. I've gotten to the point when I touch my gratitude pad, I just have this beautiful feeling. It's such a trigger. It's such a powerful exercise. Now, the first thing you do is you think of 10 things that you're grateful for. Who here might have a difficulty coming up with 10 things you're grateful for and really, really feeling it? Who's brave enough to raise your hand? Okay, well, when I first started doing this, I had a challenge coming up with 10 things I was grateful for and feeling it. And then I thought, okay, fine, I'm going to do it like a homework assignment, and I'm just going to write 10 things out and get 10 things on the paper. And that did nothing, absolutely nothing. You're better to get one thing that you actually feel than 10 things that you don't feel at all. And you can write down things like start with whatever. Like I had the best cup of coffee this morning, and I am so grateful for that coffee, you know. If the sun is shining, like you walk across the parking lot and the sun is shining and it feels so wonderful. And then start building on that. People in your life, Think of people that have changed your life, the direction of your life in such a positive way. What about your animals? Like every day, my dogs and my horses go on my gratitude list. I'm up to, I shouldn't tell you, 21 between the horses and dogs. And gosh, that sounds terrible, but it's not that bad. But I love them so much, and I am so grateful for what they bring to my life. See, you go down the line like that, and then here's a really powerful way to use gratitude. You think of something you really, really want to happen in your physical world, and it hasn't happened yet. You can be grateful for it now because you understand you've got it spiritually. That's where you got the idea. So you've got it on that plane. You've got it intellectually. You've used your faculties, your imagination. You're holding it on the screen of your mind with your will. You've described it in detail. So you've got it on that plane, the intellectual plane. All you have to do is receive it on the physical plane. And you know by law it's coming. So you can feel gratitude now. And when you get to the point where you feel as grateful now, before it physically manifests, as you do when it's here, that's power. That is huge power. And that's how you can use this. And so I started doing this exercise. I think it was actually November 7th when Bob taught it to me, 2010. Went to Hawaii, started doing it every day. And I would gratitude that there was a real difficult challenge with a deal that I was trying to close. And we kept getting further and further apart. And I kept gratituding. I'm so happy and grateful that it comes together with ease, and, efficiently, effectively. And I would feel that it was already done. This had been going on since January of 2009. In fact, it was before me, so it was years before that. Just kept getting further and further apart. Seemed impossible to resolve. And by November 14th, we had a deal, a signed deal. I never would have believed that if you had told me that before I experienced it. Never. And I remember one of our clients asked me to come to Toronto. He was at risk of losing his businesses. He had 30 businesses. They were all over $1 million in value. And he was at risk of losing every single one. And so he knew I was a deal lawyer. I did restructurings and that kind of thing. And so he called me in. And I know he wanted me to give him some really complex legal strategies. And so I sat down at his desk, and I had a gratitude pad made for him. And I get out, and he's just eager, waiting for these legal strategies, and I pull out this gratitude pad. And he's just like, he just laughed. He thought that was so fun. Now let's get down to business. I'm like, no, I'm absolutely serious. If you do this for 30 days, everything will change. And he was extremely skeptical. But I made him commit he would do it, and he would text me after he did it every day. And he did that for 30 days, and he was able to save his business. This is serious stuff. Remember what we talked about Einstein right at the beginning? What did he say was the most valuable thing that he had? Talent of fantasy. Well, that's because he learned how to direct the fantasy, the imagination. He learned how to direct it in a way to shift his vibration to become in harmony with the law. And that's what this does. So it seems ridiculous that this could change everything more than legal maneuverings and strategies, more than all this knowledge that you absorb, but it does. It's extremely powerful. So what I want to do now is take some time for you to go through and write down the 10 things you're grateful for. And remember, it can be something that hasn't physically manifested. And the main thing I want you to feel and experience is a shift in your vibration, where you really feel that gratitude, even if you just write one thing down. All right? Any questions before we get started? Okay, let's go. for the coffee you made my gratitude pad. You did a great job. Hi. How are you? Did everybody get their 10 things? Yeah? Who wants to share on how that went? How come everybody's looking down at the table? How'd it go for you guys? Did anyone have difficulty? Did you feel a shift in your vibration when you were doing it? You did? Like a big shift?
Yes.
Yeah? Did you feel it right from the beginning? And how'd that feel?
Amazing.
I got to figure out how to turn this on. Would help if I had glasses on so I could see. Can you see?
It's on.
Oh. So you felt a shift right from the beginning? Yeah? Did you have any ahas when you were doing it?
Yes.
What do you want to share?
Sure.
I'll hold it for you.
I'll share one of mine. I'm so happy and grateful now that I attack life fearlessly and expect all the good I know and feel in my heart to be true.
And that felt very empowering, didn't it?
Yes.
Now you want to repeat that like throughout the day and write it down throughout the day. That's a really powerful affirmation. Good job. That's how you want to use this. How did it go for you guys? Hi. Great? Do you do gratitude regularly?
Yes,
Yeah?
every day.
Every day? And do you find a shift in, is it getting more powerful for you?
Oh yeah. What I really like to do is hold in the image as I am already there
Yeah.
in the future, so I'm always projecting.
So do you
feeling
mostly
now.
do future things in your gratitude?
I mix.
You mix
It's-
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's a healthy balance.
Yeah. And do you do it every single day?
Yes.
Do you write it down?
Yes.
Good. Because writing causes thinking. Writing really locks it in. It's easy to just sort of think, I'll do it in my mind, or even an email, but it's not as powerful as writing it down. Especially if you have like your gratitude journal that you use every day. It's a trigger, and you can shift the vibration almost by just touching it. Good job. Hey, Blaine. Good. Hi, Cynthia. How are you? How'd it go for you guys? Hi, Wendy. Hey, Anders. How did it go for you guys?
Great.
Do you do gratitude every day, Anders?
Every day.
When did you start doing it?
When I first came to your seminars,
Yeah?
yeah,
And do you notice a difference in how effective it is?
changed my whole life. Absolutely, changed my whole life. And I do take those moments in between.
They can hear
Oh.
Yeah, no, Sandy asked how it's changed things around for me, and it's changed my life. You know, it really has profoundly. I don't recognize the person I used to be.
Do you remember when you started doing it, if you had any challenges?
Yeah, in the beginning it was challenging even getting to 10 things. Because I was caught up in emotions that didn't serve me. They were very, overpowering.
Where's Bob? Yes.
Here, this is good for everybody in the audience.
Oh.
I just met him in Vegas. I met Anders a year ago.
Almost 2 years ago.
I don't think well in reverse. 2 years ago. But anyway, he turned. I sat with him for maybe an hour or two. He recognized him, come over and talk to me, so I sat down, found out what he did. I told him a few things to do that we're going to be building in here. He took his income from 4,000 to 400,000. That in 1 year. And I met with him here just a week ago, 10 days ago.
10 days ago, yeah.
10 days ago. And I have him working now on a concept of 4 million. There's no reason why he can't, if he goes from 40,000 to 400, there's no reason why he can't go from 400 to 4 million. Now, most of us don't permit ourselves to do that. Permit yourself. Be kind to yourself. Yeah. You
There
did
go.
good. Here.
Good job.
Yeah.
Take care. Does anyone have questions on this part of the exercise? Any challenges? I know you guys had some questions over there. Yeah, there we go. Hello.
So, when I write my gratitude, what happens immediately after I write my gratitude, my mind goes to the next thing I want from that. And I don't have it, and it shifts. And I'm starting to think about the thing that I don't have and how to get it.
That's a
And
great.
then I'm not
yeah.
in gratitude anymore.
That's a really great point. How many had that happen? I bet a lot of people. Did you hear that? Where you feel the gratitude, you've got something you're really grateful for, but then all of a sudden you're on to the next thing that you don't have, and you start to feel frustration, right? And your vibration starts to dip. This is where you have to use your intellectual faculties. You've got to use your will, exactly. And you hold it and feel that gratitude. And then when you get to that thing that you don't have, switch it. Flip it on its head and see yourself having it. And hold that idea, that feeling, till you really have switched your vibration. And if you start to feel frustrated, negative, push that away. Because when you're feeling frustrated, negative, you feel like you're here and you're trying to get there. You want to reverse the equation. You want to feel you're already there, and now your only job is to look backwards and see how you got there. Make sense? Yeah.
Cindy, okay, I'm writing this daily. There are like 4 or 5 which I don't want to change. Every day I want to retain those, like infinite intelligence, parents, wife, children, and Bob Proctor, and PGI team. So I don't change those first 5, and then remaining 5, I always write different things. So is that
That's perfect.
repeating
Yeah,
same thing?
that's perfect. You know, can you write the same thing over and over and over? You bet you can, but what's the key? Yeah, feel it. Don't just write it like, oh, I've already got 5 done. Let's go on to the next 5. Like, really feel it. And it's great. It's awesome. All right. Now, on to step 2. What's step 2 of this exercise? What's that? Also, streamers, make sure you're doing this exercise too, because it's really powerful, and maybe you want to put in the chat some ahas that you've had. Okay, so this is a really important step. You've written down the 10 things you're grateful for. Now, take the time to be quiet for 5 minutes. Really go inward. Think about what we talked about. There's a marvelous inner world operating within you, right now, all the time. And it enables you to have anything you want. I mean, that feels so wonderful. So tune in and ask Spirit for guidance for the day. And then be willing to listen to the guidance. Okay? So I remember Bob first told me that, to ask Spirit for guidance for the day, and he didn't give any instructions on how to do it. So I sat down and I closed my eyes. And I'm like, okay, I want some guidance. And I was looking for something really concrete, like very explicit instructions on what to do, and that I could just take and run with. And I wasn't getting anything. And I kept trying it and trying it and trying it. And I went and I talked to Bob, and I'm like, I'm so frustrated with this. I mean, how do I know that I'm getting guidance? I mean, I want something really, really crystal clear. And he's like, that's not the way it works. And I said, well, I'm getting some sort of feelings. And he said, well, that's what you want to tune into. And I said, well, how do I know if it's just, me and my chatter, or if I'm really getting guidance? And he said, well, have you ever fished? And I said, yeah, I used to go salmon fishing a lot, actually. And he said, well, when you get a fish on the end, you got a fish. Like, there's no doubt you got a fish. And you reel it in. And then there are those times when you get a big bunch of weeds, like seaweed, and you're like, might be a fish, maybe it's a fish, maybe it's not a fish. He said, that's not guidance. And I thought, that's such a great analogy. So I started really listening for more subtleties. And as I got some kind of feedback, I would write it down on the back of my gratitude pad. And then I got to where I'm tuned in all day listening, all day getting the messages. Spirit's guiding us all the time. And so this is the purpose of this exercise. We don't do it alone. Right within us, a part of us, is this perfect guidance that we can always tap into if we're willing. So that's what we're going to do right now for 5 minutes. Just remember the energy flowing to and through you. It's unformed. Everything you need is right within you. So ask for guidance for today and listen to it throughout the day. All right? How'd that go? Anyone have any real ahas? Did anyone just have a blank screen? How'd it go for you? Did you get some messages?
I use this as prayer
Mm-hmm.
and ask for guidance from God.
Good.
Yeah.
Do you write it down when you get something?
I didn't write it down.
Yeah?
My eyes are closed.
Yeah? How long have you been doing gratitude?
Do good.
Yeah?
I do this at home.
You do at home? Good. How'd it go for you?
Great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you
Do
get
it
an
all the
aha?
time.
How long have you been doing it?
Years.
Yeah?
Years.
50?
Not that long.
This is Bob's brother. So I can ask that. How'd it go for you guys?
Really good.
Have you been doing it for a long time? Yeah?
Since we first got these books.
Yeah? Awesome. Hi. Did you guys have an aha with this? Did anyone get any really strong guidance? Or have any questions? How about back here? Do you think you get the idea between guidance and just sort of mental chatter or what you want to hear? Yeah? This part is really powerful. And at first I just kind of overlooked it. I didn't really think this part was that important initially. But oh my gosh, I've got some amazing advice by doing this and guidance. How'd it go for you, Scott?
Great. I was surprised. I kind of thought it was going to be some elaborate plan like that.
That's what I thought initially, too.
Yeah. And then in my mind, all I saw was that big screen with 4 words on it. And it said, focus on the fun.
Oh, I love that.
And I think I tend to overthink, you know.
I care. That's a perfect example of what you're looking for. I was looking for some elaborate, very concise, very clear plan, and it's like now I get 1 word, sometimes 2 or 3 words. You know, just be in the moment, or maybe to call somebody. You know, just whatever pops in your mind, jot it down and act on it. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah. Now, what's step number 3? Send love to 3 people who are bothering you. And my first question was, do I have to limit it to 3? And I meant it. Now, hopefully you're at the place that rarely ever does someone bother you, but I needed this badly when Bob gave me this exercise. And I said, so how do I do this? And he said, well, you close your eyes and you just send love to those people that are bothering you. Just send them good energy. And so I started to do it, and I started to feel very angry and frustrated. And I thought of one person in particular, and I was trying to send these waves of love. And it was like these daggers of fire. I'm like, okay, I know I'm doing something wrong here. Please help. And then Mary Morrissey said something that was so helpful for me. And she said, think of someone or something that you just love completely. And then slowly let that other person move into your consciousness. And so I thought of my dog, Sam the Man. He is gone now, but he's a 75-pound black lab. And he was half human. I mean, an incredible animal. And he would jump in my lap, and he'd wrap his arms and legs around me, and I would just feel love in every cell of my being. And it was a beautiful thing. And so I would sit there, and I'd picture Sam the Man hugging me, and I'd feel so good. And then slowly I'd let this person creep in, and I'd make him creep out really fast. So I could just feel a split second of that sending love. And then I was able to do it longer and longer and longer. And then my awareness started really growing, and I realized, what are we doing when we're sending love to people that are bothering us? It's not about them. It really has nothing to do with them. It's about what's going on in you. And when we're sending anger and bad feelings towards someone, when we're angry at someone, when you're angry at someone, you are sending them horrible energy. And you are experiencing it immediately. And that's what you're attracting, more of that. And, you know, it's like drinking poison and hoping they die. It's not going to happen. So when you really understand that, and when you understand this idea, which you might want to write down, everyone does their best based on their current level of awareness. Everyone's doing their best, so why be angry at them? That's where they are. That's where their awareness is. You don't want to allow yourself to get stuck where they are. You want to let that go and send love. And another thing I learned was sometimes you want to put yourself at the top of the list. You might be really frustrated with yourself, angry at yourself. Send yourself love. Just a pure love, seeing yourself enjoying life like we're supposed to. Notice the fun. Focus on the fun. Focus on the enjoyment. Focus on why we're here. Life is supposed to be filled with joy. It's supposed to be filled with ease. And so you want to get to that place. So let's do that now. Send love to 3 people that are bothering you. Include yourself if you're frustrated with yourself. And if you don't feel, angry, frustrated with anybody, then just send love and get in that vibration. All right? Let's do that now. Go. I love watching the faces when in this part of the exercise, Because at first you see a lot of faces that are like angry and scrunched up, and then start to see resolve. How did it go for you?
Actually, it went really well.
Oh, here we need to. Can you turn the mic? There we go.
Yeah, it went really well, and I already know what I'm going to put on my gratitude list tomorrow. The fact that I can only come up with 2 people that, you know, maybe cause me grief and that bother me right now.
You're way ahead of where I was.
and one more thing, I do know that, you know, bitterness and anger towards others, just it does eat away at us. And
So the
it's
2 people that were
toxic.
bothering you, did you feel yourself just let that go?
Not entirely.
But a little bit?
Yeah, I can work on that.
Okay, good. Good. Anyone have questions on that part of it? Or any big, yeah.
Does it have to be where we're just not doing anything, where we're just quiet and silent? Because I was really desirous to just start texting my love to people. Like I
Oh.
wanted to start communicating.
Oh,
and
that's cool.
connecting.
Yeah. That's
Don't know
cool.
if that's-
Actually, it's funny, in the company, we all do gratitude. And so usually I wake up in the morning with a number of texts of people saying, I just did gratitude and I just wanted to send you love. So yeah, that's a great idea. It's really powerful to do this with a group too. Like your team at work, you know, with your company, do this with the group. And share. When I did that in Hawaii with my mom and my sister, at first they were just kind of like, I'm not sure about this. But I just watched them transform over the week that we were in Hawaii. And it brings you close together. It's a beautiful thing. How did that part go for you?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Did you notice a shift?
Yeah, I was trying to think of 3 people, but then I thought about myself,
Yeah?
and then I was sending love to my paradigms. I
Good.
was sending it to the paradigms.
Were you sending them
change.
love and saying, get out of here?
Right. Let's work it out.
Thank
Let's
you
get
for
along.
leaving. Yeah,
Absolutely.
very good. I love that. Awesome. Did it go good for you guys? Yeah? Yeah.
While I was thinking about the people that I've been frustrated with, it actually brought me to like their child. And I started to see like places of fear or pain that they were coming from that was causing the frustration that I was having with
Good.
them. So-
That's really good. And then you just send them love.
Yeah,
get
to
good.
that little person inside. So-
Exactly. Very good. Yeah, there are a lot of techniques you can use. A lot of techniques. You know, some people, like you see them as a little baby or whatever works to where you can get the point where you're sending love. All right? So how many of you are going to do this exercise every single day? Good. And remember, write it out. And you can stop at any point throughout the day and just think of what you're grateful for. And when you really feel that, everything else is going to seem much better than it did before. Okay?
This was the best thing for me, actually.
Yeah?
Actually, before when I came here, this was the best part of this to come because I was this type of person that when you ask like to send love, I just wanted to send this person hate,
Yeah.
whatever. Then it was very hard for me. And then you were send this person love. Why should I send this person love? She did all the bad things for me. And then I realized then little by doing it, it got easier and easier and easier.
And it's how you felt.
Yeah, and now I got to this point that it's much easier, and I'm setting myself free, and I have this calm
That's the key.
and peace, and I'm sharing this with everybody that you say, whoever comes to contact to me, I say, do the gratitude, everything's gonna change, and send everybody love, because you cut the cord, because all this bad energy, it has to come through
Exactly.
me, and then go through other people.
Exactly.
So-
Exactly. Did you hear that? It goes through you. You got it instantly. And that's immediately what you're attracting back.
I have to hate myself to hate other people.
That's right. Very good. That's awesome. All right, good. So now we're going to switch gears. I think we should do a 30-second dance party. Who's game? Okay, come on, stand up. Get ready for Bob. Come on, Mark. Woo! That was good. All right. Now, we are going to switch gears, and we are going to bring none other than Bob Proctor back on stage. Let's give him some love.
reach out, touch faith.
Are you grateful? Are you really grateful? Okay, I'll go to work. Now, I suggested I put a piece of candy in my mouth just as she called my name. Wouldn't you know it? There it goes. It was good. We talked about there being 6 phases to goal creation. And I think probably everyone knows, they may not know there's 6, but I think you know that there would have to be some kind of a process, a pattern. When you think of plants growing in your home or in your garden, I have a beautiful studio. It's actually a little television station. I can broadcast all over the world. It's 50 feet from my back door. It's in my own backyard. And I love it. I go out there and the music is always playing, very quiet music, Carl Dow. And it's just very quiet. And the only time the music comes shut off, I'll throw a switch if I'm recording. When I moved into the studio, first day it was open, Sandy sent me a beautiful big plant. Then at some other point, I forgot, maybe it was a birthday, she sent me another one. And she sent me a money tree. So I've got this big plant from opening day, and then I've got the big plant, I think birthday or something, and the money tree. And these things grow so well in there. The energy is so good in there. It's quiet energy. It's very creative energy. It's all create. It's all we talk about in there. This is all we do is create in that place. And those plants love it. I remember Vandewall, mentor of mine, we did a seminar. It was called the $1 Million Forum. And the first one we did in the Laurentians in the mountains. The $1 Million Forum is where Chicken Soup for the Soul books came from. The program was set up to teach people to earn $1 million by setting up multiple sources of income. We had the tables. It was a classroom style setup. And so there'd be chairs right down in a row. We had a little single vase with 1 rose in it in front of every person. There was a woman that sat near the front, and every day her rose died. Yeah. And I remember Vandewall saying, I wouldn't want to live in the house where flowers couldn't grow. I thought, that's a good point. I think that's why I love the studio so much. The energy's so incredible in there. And the plants show it. They grow. I think we know there's a process with all of life. The moment of conception. And then over 280 days, there's a process taking place. And then the baby makes its debut on the planet in physical form. So we know these things, but do we really think for every goal there's a process? I believe that you'd accept that. You may have thought of it, you may not have thought of it, but you think, yeah, that makes sense. Well, where do we start? This is where we start. Where am I going? Where am I going? See, Phil said, I want an Oscar. I said, I can show you how to do that. And one of the first things I told him, I said, you got to start walking, talking, working, living, being as if you've already earned an Oscar. And you earn it. You don't win it. You earn it. So you don't operate where I hope this happens sometime. You've got to walk like you've already got it. Let me read you something. We've got it in here in the program somewhere. Determined imagination, thinking from the end, is the beginning of all miracles. The future must become the present, yet in the imagination of the one who would wisely and consciously create circumstances. We must translate vision into being, thinking of into thinking from. Imagination must center itself in some state and then view the world from that state. Thinking from the end is an intense perception of the world of fulfilled desire. See, that's where Scott says perception is so important. I guess it is. So, if he sees himself already, he's already earned the Oscar, he would walk and talk and work and treat life like he was an Academy Award winner. Well, this is where we start. Now, not many people live that way, because if you're acting like you're already there, somebody will say, who do you think you are? What are you doing that for? Come on, get with it, for God's sake. Who do you think you are? People are going to laugh at you. Listen, I don't know if these statistics are accurate, but I'm inclined to believe they are. They come out so many different ways. If 97% seem to be going on the wrong track, what are the odds of you being with someone at any particular time that's on the right track? Do you see, if you don't consciously and deliberately choose the people you're going to associate with, the odds of you picking up good information is pretty slim. I am very selective about the people I spend a lot of time with. I don't think I'm better than anybody. In fact, I know I'm no better than anybody. I know we are all the same. We are all descendants from the same stock. I mean, we're really all the same. There's only one mind. But there's a lot of people that don't understand that they're the same as somebody that's doing very well. So they don't see themselves doing very well. I don't want to spend a lot of time with anybody that's not goal-oriented. I don't want to spend a lot of time with anybody that doesn't know exactly where they're going to go. I don't want to spend time with anyone that wants to play it safe, because I might catch what they've got. I went into prisons, maximum security in Canada. This was the big place. I went in once a month for 5 years. I got to know them very well. I got to know how to speak their language, because if you don't speak their language, you're not going to communicate effectively. I mean, you didn't call a guard a guard. There were screws, you see? And anyway, I got to learn their language, and I communicated effectively. And I'll tell you a story about it later on. Part of it's funny, and part of it's very interesting. But you know, everybody leaving there, almost everybody, knew they were going back. When they'd leave, the screw would say, "You'll be back." And I'll say, "Don't hold your breath." But they knew they were going. Even the con knew they were going back. Recidivism rate is up around 85, 90%. That means out of 8 or 9 out of 10 people that have done their time and leave, they go back. And some of them spend almost their whole life there. They don't get life, they get 6 years. They're on the street for 6 months, they're back for 4 years. They're on the street for 6 months, they're back in for 3 years. Then they go back in for 9 years. And they're just in and out their whole life. Recidivism rate is way up there. Why? Well, all they do is deal with criminals. All they talk about is crime. That's all they think about, so that's who they are. You go into a welfare area. There's a place in Toronto called some park. I forgot the name of the damn place now. Anyway, Regent Park. And I remember many years ago, back in the 50s, there was ramshackle old houses, and this was right downtown Toronto. And these houses were falling apart. I mean, they were just falling apart. Yet and the city took over and tore them all down and built beautiful big apartment buildings. Well, do you know they just finished tearing those apartment buildings down? See, they took the people out of the slums, but they didn't take the slums out of the people. 85 to 90% of people that grow up in welfare area live in a welfare. That's where they go. Welfare recipients, almost all welfare, are 4th, 5th, 6th generation welfare recipients. Why? Carl Mendinger pointed out that environment is more important than heredity. You've got to really watch what you're doing, who you're mixing with. I have a lot of people, I'll be 85 my next birthday. A lot of people say, how do you stay so young? I don't hang around old people. Now, and I was saying that as a bit of a joke one time, and I realized it's true. I really don't. I spend very little time with anyone my age. Almost all the people I hang around, 50, 55. I mean, Sandy be about as old as they come. Now, I imagine she's watching that, and that's not going to get her. That was her. Send love. You know. No, but you see, this is important. Now, if you're just spending time with a certain group of people and you're not taking a look, see, some people don't pay any attention to that. You should pay attention to it. Most people have no idea where they're going. They really don't. And you don't have to be much of a genius to figure this out. Stand back and watch the way most people live. Watch the way they operate. The way they talk, the way they walk, the way they act, the way they dress. Everything about them is an indication that there's nothing but confusion in here. They start doing this and they stop and they go over here and they start that and they leave it and they go over here and they're doing this. They never get anything done. They're all over the damn place. There's no order. Now, I'm not the most orderly worker. And there's a lot of things I didn't want to learn how to do. So I delegated. You get an assistant. I think if you're going to build anything, you should have an assistant. You got to have a good assistant. You see? I think that's very important. So I have orderly people around me. I've got just the most phenomenal team of people that you ever want. I mean, you talk to anybody in this company, I'm just proud to work with any of them. I mean, they're that good. They really are. I don't run the company. I just work here. Sometimes, you know. Sandy runs the company, and she didn't think I'd be able to do that. She says, "You got to do what I say." I said, "Okay." And when she took over, she didn't think I'd be able to do that. She says, "Usually when that happens, the person leaves the company when somebody else comes in as CEO." And I said, "Well, I'm not going anywhere." She does a phenomenal job. And if you ask her, she'll tell you, and she'll tell you the truth. I do what she wants done. Some of it I don't agree with. I don't agree with it at all. And sometimes I tell her I don't, but usually I don't. I just do what she says. Because I know that she's on the right track. The results indicate she's on the right track. We're growing. We're profitable. We're doing the right thing. We're going in the right direction. You see? You've got to know where you're going, and then you've got to pay attention to how in the hell you're going to get there. How do you do that? Do you have to know how to get there? No, you don't. But you've got to pay attention. You know, there's a, Gina was telling me there's a guest here, or somebody here. I don't know if she's not a guest. Maybe she bought a ticket. I don't know. Where's Whitney Johnson? Oh, there she is. Stand up. I want you to give this lady a big hand. Whitney Johnson. Listen. Everybody here, now you're going to get mobbed on breaks, but everybody here, you want to get an opportunity to meet this woman. Get her book. Get on her mailing list. Find out what she's doing. She's absolutely brilliant. Now, I got to know her in a meeting that we were doing. Who were we doing it for? For Junior Achievement. Is that what it was? We're both work with Junior Achievement. Anyway, Whitney, we had to give a bit of background where we come from, what we do, and all that. Whitney was in something in finance and very successful, and quit. I thought, damn, she and Sandy are so much alike. She's written a book, Disrupt Yourself. That's what you're going to be doing. You're going to be disrupting yourself. Would you agree? You got to get to know this lady. I'm getting to know her. I don't know her real well, but I'm getting to know her. Everything I find out about her just causes me to be more impressed with her. She knows what she's doing. You want to get on her mailing list, she would have stuff that she sends out, stuff she sells. Get it. Get it. Because she's very, very smart. And she helps people do things and understand that they're doing it and why they're doing it that really make a big difference. Thanks for being here, Whitney. Okay. Now, for you to live like you're already there, you're going to have to disrupt yourself. There's no question about it. Okay? You've really got to do it. Now, the next part is it can't be done. You know? Well, it can be done. And we're going to go in. We're going to talk about these people that say it can't be done. Well, that can't be done. I'll never be able to do that. Well, it can be done. But we've got some good examples for you. And then, who am I? The average individual hasn't got the foggiest idea who they are. They really don't know who they are. They hear that they're God's highest form of creation. Well, what does that really mean? That means I'm more than the trees or the squirrels or something like that. We're created in God's image. Now, I'm not teaching religion. I'm not qualified to do it, and I don't even want you to get the idea that I'm trying to. But I'll tell you this. We are truly created in God's image. Now, the problem most of us have, we got that equation reversed, and we created God in our image. And that causes any amount of trouble. We got to get this straightened out. Who am I? Do you know, if I were you, I would turn your chair around. You're going to have a kink in your neck or in your back or, you know. You too. What is your name? Ishmael, turn your chair around. That's a hell of an uncomfortable way to sit. The lady over here, turn your chair around. Jeez, that's an awkward way to sit. You should never sit in a chair like that. You didn't turn it around. You're not comfortable like that. Okay. She's saying, if you insist, I'll turn it part way. Oh, she's turning it all the way. Now you're going to feel so much more comfortable. All right. Listen. Who am I? When I started to study this, I couldn't have answered that question. I say, what do you mean, who am I? I'm Bob. What are you talking about? You know who I am. But I'm not Bob. I'm not. That's my name, but that's not me. Say, well, this is me. No, this isn't me. This is my body. My body. You've never heard anyone say, am hand. We don't say that. We say, my hand, my leg, my head, my name. But that's not me. Now, you see, most individuals, they never entertain what I've just said. They don't let that run around their mind. Who am I? Listen, if I'm going to act like the person I want to become, I better know who I am. I was, yeah, I will. Every now and then I get ideas and I have to digress. I was standing way back in the back corner of the room at the O'Hare Hyatt. This is way back, years ago, the late 60s. I was very shy. I had low self-esteem, but I was very shy. If I was with a group of people just the size maybe at one table, I wouldn't ask a question. I would just sit there. I would never speak up. I would be quiet. I would never hold up my hand to volunteer to do anything. I was shy. Well, what does that mean? I had very low self-esteem. I had a low opinion of myself. I had the strongest desire to teach this. As odd as it may seem, I was doing very well with this poor image. It was a poor image socially, but I started and I developed my image. We have an image in many different ways. That's why Gurdjieff talks about the many eyes of the personality. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I do this. Well, I wanted to teach this. You see, when Diane was saying the story about me with the guy in the cassette where I was so embarrassed, I didn't want to be a speaker. Earl Nightingale was not a speaker. He would speak. I speak, and they pay me a lot of money sometimes to do it. But that, I don't see myself as a speaker. I never have. It's not something I wanted to do. But I had an enormous desire to teach this. Yet it was so good, and I'm thinking it's essential. People got to learn this. And I knew it very well, and I didn't wonder it worked. I knew it worked. I did it. Yet, like the Wright brothers didn't care who said you can't fly. They said, I know I can, I just did. You see? And it's a different thing. So, I'm in the back of the room, and Bill Gove has a handheld mic, and he's standing there. There's about 1,000 people in the room, 500 here, 500 there. It was a middle aisle. He was standing here. Bill Gove was the best speaker I ever heard. Man was phenomenal. And he became a very good friend. Anyway, I didn't even know him. But I'm in the back corner, and he's standing here. He's got his hand up. And he said, if I want to be free, I've got to be me. If I want to be free, I've got to be me. Not the me I think my wife thinks I should be. Not the me I think my kids think I should be. If I want to be free, I've got to be me. Not the me I think you think I should be. If I want to be free, I got to be me. Now he said, I better know who me is. I'm in the back of the room and I'm thinking, God, this guy's so good at this. If I could only do that. If I could only do that. Well, in Earl Nightingale's Lead the Field, the first recording is on attitude. And at one point on that recording, he said, now right here we come to a rather strange fact. We tend to minimize the things we can do, the goals we can accomplish, and for some equally strange reason, we think others can do things that we cannot. He said, I want you to realize that that is not true, that you have deep reservoirs of talent and ability. And I'm listening to that, and if you said, do you understand that? I say, of course I understand it. I didn't understand it at all. I bet I had listened to that at least 1,000 times, maybe 2. For years I'd been listening to it. Here he is saying, "Yep, I want to be free." And I've been thinking, if only I could do that. He can, but I can't, you know. And all of a sudden, that damn record started to play in my head. Now, right here, we come to a rather strange fact. We tend to minimize the things. That's what he's talking about. That's what he's talking about. That moment, I became aware of the truth in what I'd been listening to for a few years. Our problem is we have been trained to read the book and then we think we've got it. You could read the book and not have it at all. If you read the same thing over and over and over and you're relaxed and you look at it and you think, what did he really mean? Get into their head. Understand what they're saying. I didn't understand it. I thought I did because I'd listen so often. I made up my mind right then. I not only going to learn it, I was going to get him to teach me. And Bill Gove became my mentor, my coach. And he taught me how to do what I'm doing right now. Now, I don't speak anything like Bill Gove. He was the Frank Sinatra of speakers. I don't speak anything like him. You see, he didn't teach me anything about speaking. He taught me something about me. He taught me to be totally comfortable talking to you. That's all I had to do. If I'm very comfortable talking to you, I will express whatever I want to express. I'll share what's inside. Most people are not comfortable in public speaking because their focus is all on themselves. All they're thinking about is themselves. And they're thinking, I wonder what she thinks of me. I wonder what he thinks. I wonder if they like what I'm doing. Do they like my tie? Is my shirt, you know? The focus is all on self. You couldn't possibly be effective doing that. I've got one focus. I want you to understand this like I do, and I will do everything that comes to my mind. I will say whatever comes into my mind if I think it'll help you understand it. Well, what I really had to get was that if Bill could do it, Bob could do it. All I wanted to do was do it. I just wanted to do this. Some of you are going to fall in love with this. You'll really fall in love with it. It's so easy to do because, you see, I think you are genetically programmed to want to help people. I believe that. I believe you're programmed to want to help people. There's something in you. There's a gene in you. Or possibly there's a part of every gene in you, everyone, that you want to help people. It's instinctive. It's part of who we are. I said instinctive. It's not instinctive. It's just programmed right into our genes. Well, if you want to do what we're doing, you can do it. And you can do it with us. I'd love you to do it with us. Elma out in Orange County. Elma, I hope you're watching again, because I'm really glad you decided to work with us, and I'm going to work with you. And you tell me what you want, Elma, and I'm going to show you how to get it. I will. And as long as you keep telling me, I will show you. And if you don't believe it'll work, go and ask Phil. See, that's the way it works. Now, if we don't take time to understand who we are, if I don't take time to understand who I am, it won't much matter where I'm going. It won't much matter who I'm doing it with. because I'm living in ignorance about the most important thing in the world, who I am. There's something absolutely phenomenal locked up in you, right in your core of your being. And this is the truth. If you can see it here, you can hold it here. If you can entertain the idea, you can cause it to move into form, because you are in harmony, or can be in harmony, with the laws that govern your being. You can get in harmony with God's laws, and when you do, then you can make anything happen. Anything. People say, well, there's limits. Well, if that's what you think, then there will be. Now, we're going to take into some stuff right after the break that, to me, it's just common sense. But to some of you, it's going to be a revelation. How many people here in network marketing? Let me see a show of hands. Hold up your hand. Stand up. I can't see the hands. How many? Oh, God, there's quite a few. Quite a few. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you. Well, I'll show you how the next pin is important, but that's not what you want to go after. You want to go after that sucker right at the top, and to get there, you got to get that next one. But you will get it. You know, I was recently interviewed by Eric Worre, who's the Dean of Networkers for seminars. Anyway, he said, what do you think of network marketing? Or no, he said, what would you do if you weren't doing what you're doing? What if you were starting over? I'd be in network marketing. Because it's really into personal growth. That's what it really is all about. And it's all about multiple sources of income. And if you want to be wealthy, you've got to have multiple sources of income. You got one source of income, you are going to have trouble in River City. You got to have a lot of them. You got to have a lot of sources of income. Now, to do that, we've got to know who we are. Who am I? Okay? And we're going to get at that. Now, we're going to take a break. And I don't know, Gina, do you have, here's Gina. Give Gina a big hand. And right after the break, come back right on time, because I'm going to share some stuff. You're going to love it. Love it. Thank you, Gina.
When he yells at you, it sounds so nice. When I do, it's not so much. Can you please close your books, put them on your chairs, and then leave the room? We'll clean it all up for you, get it all nice and tidy. We are going to come back in 20 minutes. I don't know what time it is right now. Can somebody yell it out? 10:37? So we are going to come up back at 10:57. 3 minutes before 11. Have a good break.
This has been such an incredible morning session. And this weekend, I have a quote on my heart and on my mind, and I wanted to share it with you. It's by Max Dupree. It says, "We cannot become what we need to be by remaining who we are." And I feel like that has everything to do with what Bob and Sandy were sharing this morning with the gratitude exercise, and then Bob going into perception of who we are and what we have to leave behind to become who it is that we really want to be. I hope that you have taken some time to reflect on your gratitude. I'm feeling incredibly grateful for all of you that we're streaming to more than 4,000 people in 111 countries, and we're all doing gratitude together, learning about perception together, and improving our lives together. We're going to play a quick video of Bob talking about perception right now. I think it's 7, maybe 9 minutes long, and then we'll be back in 20 minutes, just like they said, 3 minutes before 11. We'll see you soon.
Hello there, and welcome. I'm Bob Proctor. You know, some time ago, I did a Instagram on perception, and I promised I'd make a video of it. Over the next few minutes, if you will listen really carefully, take everything I'm saying very serious, and test what I'm suggesting, I guarantee you this could change your life like that, and to an enormous degree. It can change almost everything in your life. First of all, let's stop and think about who we are and what we are. We are a massive energy in a very high speed of vibration. We have awesome power. We've got power beyond the scope of our imagination. Now, as long as we're living in a physical body and corresponding with the material world, we're going to use our senses. We can see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. Do you know, I've got a little dog that can see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. Now, it's been pointed out to us by some pretty respectable authorities that you and I are the only creature on the planet that's totally disoriented in our environment. All the other little creatures are completely at home in their environment. The birds and the bees and the squirrels and the trees, they all blend in. They're completely at home in their environment. You and I are totally disoriented in our environment, and that is because we have been given the mental faculties to create our own environment. Now think of that for a moment. We can create our own environment. In other words, we don't have to settle for what we see around us. We can change it. Now, if we're going to create our own environment and live the way we really want to live, we're going to have to use our higher faculties. We're going to have to begin to think. We just can't move along at a snail's pace, doing the same thing every day, day in, day out. We're going to have to understand, what are these higher faculties? You see, we have perception, the will, reason, imagination, memory, intuition. These are all higher faculties. I want to talk to you about perception. Perception is how you see something. It's your way of looking at something. You change the way you look at something and it'll change completely. Now let me explain how I do this. I learned this, by the way, from Earl Nightingale. This one thing I'm going to show you right now. If I have a particular problem or a challenge, I will take it and I'll write it on a piece of paper. And I'll put the paper in the center of a table and I'll sit back and look at it. And then I'll ask myself, is that challenge or that problem in me or is it on the paper? Now, as long as it's in me, I'm going to have difficulty with it. So I've got to work to get it on the paper. You'll say, well, that's silly. Is it? Try it. Find out how silly it is. And when I get it on the paper, then I look at it. And I really try and understand it. Then I may go sit on the other side of the table and I'll look at it and I'll attempt to get into Earl Nightingale's energy and I'll say, how would he look at this? How would Earl perceive this particular situation? And I'll start to get ideas in my mind. Then I'll go and look at it from somebody else's perspective. I may ask someone to share their perspective of it. You see, when you change the way you look at something, it changes. Our good friend Wayne Dyer gave us that. He said, when you change the way you look at a thing, the thing you look at changes. Why? Because we have perception. We've got the ability to change how we see things. Peggy McCall one day phoned me, and she said, we were just talking on the phone, and in idle conversation, when we finished the point we were talking on, she said that she and Denny were looking at a home, but it was $1 million more than they wanted to pay. I said right back to her, make the $1 million look small. Do you know, it was only a couple of hours later, I got an email from her with a book cover, Make $1 Million Look Small. That's changing your perception of something. A couple of days later, she phoned me. She said, why don't we get Mary Morrissey, Gay Hendricks, yourself and myself, and we will run a seminar, Make $1 Million Look Small. And we did, and we made $1 million. We changed the way we look at things. What are you having your biggest problem with today? Look at it from a totally different point of view. Now, you see, you're conditioned to see it from the way you're looking at it. You've got to change that, bang, just like that, change it. Because you can. You can look at it from a totally different perspective. Your mind is very, very fluid. It'll only be rigid if you keep it rigid. Change the way you're looking at it. That's what perception's all about. Think of when you have a big problem and you go and you share it with someone wiser than yourself, and all of a sudden like that, you may not even have a problem. What did they do? They looked at it from how they saw it. They could see that isn't a big problem. They explained something to you, and all of a sudden the problem went away. There's just a situation there that has to be looked after. See, perception is a mental faculty. Now, I told you, you have reason, the will, imagination, memory, intuition, and perception. These are all higher faculties. As you start to shift your perception of something, it changes totally. Change your perception or your way of looking at how you earn your money. Could you earn more? Could you earn more with less effort? Could you earn more without working? Could you earn money when you're sleeping? Now, this is causing you to look at what you're doing from a different perspective. Do you know what the truth is? You can earn more money when you're sleeping than you can spend when you're awake. Sounds wild, doesn't it? But it's true. You see, all things are possible. We've just got to start to look at them a different way. And when we do, our whole world starts to change. Perception. How do you see what you see? Change it. Understand this. It's not rigid. It's as fluid as the air. You have to use your perception to look at everything you're looking at from a totally different point of view. That's how we've created the world we've got today. Somebody changed how they looked at lighting and they come in and lit our studio up properly. Somebody changed the way we look at recording and they built better microphones. Look at this for a moment. Here's a little box. I want you to look at it. Little box. This was designed by Frank Lloyd Wright, a great architect. I saw it sitting in a store one day and I said, isn't that interesting? And I picked it up and looked at it. I thought, I wonder if it opens. It not only opens, but it's got a nice clock in it. And I have this on my desk and I can close it if I want. I can open it and I see the time. I just see, you just changed your perception of this box. When I opened it, I changed mine when I opened it. And I thought, I like that, and I gave it to myself as a gift. Matt, who's working with me today, said, how long have you had that? I said, I don't know, 20 years. How do you look at what you're capable of doing? How do you look at your life? How do you look at your business? How do you look at your inability to earn money? Start to shift the way you see things. That's what perception's all about. Don't look at life the same way every day. Try and upgrade your view. Look at it from a different point of view. Raise yourself. Look down at it. Look up at it. Look sideways at it. Understand this. It's as you see it. That's the way it is for you. Perception. Change it.
Reach out, touch faith.
Gina. Is Gina here?
She's not here.
Where is she? She's not here?
She's not here.
Okay. Would you
kill his mic?
All right. We are on the screen. Who am I? Now, we talked about that, and we spend a lot of time talking about that. There's only two things to talk about. Just two. One, the cause of all that happens, and two, the effect of all that happens. We're going to talk about you or God. Now, if you want to use another terminology, that's fine. You know, we're talking about the creator of the universe. You know, somebody says, I don't believe in God, that's fine. Got to believe in something, you'll fall for anything, you know. But let's think, who am I? We got to get this right. And then, you got a little coin on the table. Let me tell you why you got it on the table. Because I want to talk to you about it. And I do, I had one. All right. Now I want you to put this, don't look at it. Hold it in your hand. Now, rub your thumb across the side that's closest to your thumb. Hold it in your hand. Just one hand, not two hands. Takes two to get it out of that sleeve, doesn't it, Bev? Okay, so hold it loose in your hand. Now rub one side. It's either rough or smooth. How many got the rough side? All right. How many got the smooth side? Ah, that's good. There's more. Okay, now here's what you're trying to do. You just carry this coin loose. Carry it loose. And if you have a pocket and it's in your pocket, every time you put your hand in your pocket, just move it around in your hand. And here's what you want to remember. And this is going to help you. This is a symbol to trigger what I'm telling you on the screen of your mind. You're either being controlled by the environment, that's the people we associate with, what's going on around us, or we're being controlled from inside, we go to God. We're working with the law. You're tuned up inside. Now, all you have to do is just ask yourself, what's in control of me right now? Am I working with the law? Am I on God's side? Or am I letting the environment outside control me? Not a bad idea. You like the idea? And you see, the rough side isn't the side you're going to win on, but the smooth side is. It's just smooth sailing, maybe. Just let it go. You don't even have to work. In fact, does somebody have a microphone? All right, I need a microphone. In Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill said, if you're one of those people who believe hard work and honesty alone will bring riches, perish the thought it is not true. Riches come, if they come at all, in response to definite demands, thank you, based on definite principles and not by chance or luck. Now think of what I just said. If you're one of those people who believe that hard work and honesty alone will bring riches, perish the thought it's not true. He says riches, when they come in response to definite demands. You demand it of yourself. Based upon the application of definite principles. The application of definite principles. Napoleon Hill spent his whole life studying this material. He wrote this book in 1937. He had been preparing to write it since 1908. Andrew Carnegie, who at the time was the wealthiest man in the world, was his mentor. Hill studied with all the best in the world. Now, when he was finished, he said, there are 30 major causes of failure. There are 13 major causes of success. And he called those principles of success. And he wrote a book on it. Now, I had a man call me one day, told me who he was, and that's a good picture of the dog. He told me who he was, and then he said, we would like to film you explaining the 13 principles of success. Napoleon Hill's 13 principles of success. And I said, yeah, I'd like that, because I knew who he was, and I knew work he had done. So I said, I would really like that. And we just finished them. Well, they're not finished yet. I can't sell them to you right now. But they're done. They're in getting whatever you do with them after you do them. And the man that did it is right here, Scott Servain. Stand up for a minute, Scott. Now, you can sit down again if you want.
What's that?
You can sit down again if you want now. Now, you're going to have to follow certain principles if you're going to manifest your goal. Could you violate some of them? Yeah. You can violate them all if you want. In fact, you could violate every one of them and still appear to be a big winner because you could earn millions and millions of dollars. Like there's a lot of reprobates that earn a lot of money. You don't have to be a nice person to earn money. You don't even have to be a good person. I think we all know that. But I think you have to be a nice person if you want to enjoy it. I think you have to be a good person. There's a difference, you see. Anyway, Scott has filmed these 13 principles. I've been studying them for 57 years. I love them. I absolutely love them. And I have not seen the whole project. I've seen part of it. And I'm not the most nimble on the computer. And so I kept screwing up. And then I don't remember my passwords. That really is a problem. Scott's got all my passwords, knows how to work for me. But he was in England. So anyway, I haven't seen them all. I've seen some of them. But Arash came over to me and he said, they are incredible. Brian, my son, he said that they're really good. Tell us, what could they expect?
Well, the cool thing is, you know, Bob is the only guy I know that's just been boots on the ground living this stuff for all these years. And Andrew, my partner here, was actually his initial idea because we were trying to
I don't think I met you before,
Oh,
Andrew.
Andrew Graham. Yeah.
Well, I'll meet him in a minute.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
We were talking about, well, who can we get to speak into each of these principles? And we had this big list of people, and every single one we got to, we said, well, Bob should really do that one. And then number 4, oh, Bob should do that one. Number 9, oh, well, Bob's got to do that one. And so all of a sudden, Andrew goes, well, why don't we just have Bob do all of them? And so, knowing what you would say to me, we picked up the phone and called you. And I'm so glad we did. And it's like nothing I've ever seen. You know, I've been in this space for about 20 years. I have about 20,000 hours in the craft, making films. I've made half a dozen more. And I've never seen anything like this. The authenticity of this guy right here, just sharing from your heart. And you know what, Bob? That's what got me the most. When you would share from your heart about the intricacies of these principles, they landed on me. And so now there's half a dozen of them I wasn't even using because I didn't really get it. It didn't click for me. And so when you spoke of your life experience and how it hit you in the heart and changed you as a man, I took those with me now. And I feel like I have all of them with me. Am I using them all? Pretty much. Much better than I was. So it's this intimate interaction that you've had with this work and just sharing it openly. It's like nothing the world has ever seen. It's nothing I've ever seen as a filmmaker. And that's what I'm after. I'm after something new, something I've never put into a film before. And so that's why we're so excited about this, because it is something authentic, it's real, it's going to light people up from the inside out. I sit in front of your content with these 13 principles every day. And every day I get a chill because there's something new that I didn't land on me before.
Mm-hmm.
We study them every day.
Yeah.
Good.
It's our content, but we study them every day. Even my friend Carl is in the back. We were studying Desire just before we came to this event.
Yeah.
Sitting down with the projector, actually watching Desire.
Well, no, I've been asking them this question for months, but I might as well ask them again. When's it going to be ready?
Last night at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Last night at 2 a.m.
Last night at 2 a.m.
Done. Finished.
Okay,
We're
well,
gonna go.
I want to see that. All right. Because I haven't seen them all. But I'm looking forward. Listen, I want to thank you guys. That's great. Thanks, Scott. Yeah. What's the girl's name that died? The one that died, lady. Never mind. You will hear of it when it's done. It's a program. It's all filmed. 13 Principles of Success. And when he said about filming, I thought, geez, that just makes so much sense. Like, you don't have to study a whole pile of books to get the one. You just go directly to it. And directly, now that doesn't mean you're not going to still study a whole pile of books, because when you're reading, it's enjoyable. You know, you do something inside of you that you don't do another way. But Phil, I want you to get the first copy with my compliments. Now, that just came to my mind.
Done.
All right? Scott, see that Phil Goldfine gets a copy. First copy before anybody gets one. Okay? Outside of, yeah. Okay. Just come. All right. You should get him to direct a movie.
We've talked. He's coming.
Why don't you talk some more?
Okay.
Okay? There you go. You're going to movie. Okay. Now, these coins can be so valuable. You're going to hit rough parts on the road. You are, for sure. And your old paradigm's going to cut in, and just at the time the paradigm cut in, somebody that you don't really like said something really nasty about you, and you standing there and heard them, and then, you know, I mean, you're just going to turn the whole damn world upside down. And then you start rubbing this, I'm doing this to myself. Doesn't matter what they said. Doesn't matter what they did. Why would I do that to myself? Well, Stanford, they gave me the book. He said, Bob, there's only 2 reasons why you're doing this. He says, one, you're ignorant. The other one is you're stupid. Now, he said, when I met you, you were ignorant. And that's how he got the message across. I was just being stupid. I was letting the outside control the inside. Doesn't work that way. Stay in harmony with the smooth side of life, and you'll never have to work again. You see, working happens to be the very worst way to earn money. When you love what you do, you're not working. Now think of this for a moment. I talked to a doctor in Phoenix, it'll be some time ago now, but he told me he was thinking of quitting the profession. And I said, why are you going to do that? Well, he said, you can't make any money. He said, the medical profession's all messed up. He said, you got to work more hours to earn less money. And I said, well, why'd you become a doctor? He says, because I love it. Well, I said, why would you care if they ever paid you at all? If you can wake up in the morning and go and do what you love doing, what could be better than that? See, we're not made for work. Work is made for us. Work is what gives us satisfaction in life. You're not supposed to work for money. You're supposed to work for satisfaction. Now, if you can earn money at the same time, doesn't get much better than that. That's where we are in this business. You provide service to earn money. Some of those networkers that stood up earned more money last night when you were sleeping than you could spend when you're awake. It's one of the secrets of wealth. And they're doing it. Now think. Really think about this. Carry that coin and don't be without it. You want to get to a point where if you put your hand in your purse or your pocket and it's not there, you almost feel undressed. You feel like you're going to go home and correct things. See? This can be worth its weight in gold many times over for you. Okay? Don't let the outside control the inside. You will hear of the principles of success, the 13. I'm quite proud of the job. I haven't seen it all yet. Where am I now? Now, here's the deal. You know where you're going to go, and you start to understand who you are so you can act like the person you want to become. Because now you understand yourself, you know how to work with yourself. You're not you're not a mass of confusion or contradictions now. You know. Now, someone saw all that gold up there, all that hardware from the entertainment industry. A lot of people would drool over only one of them. Phil earned them all. And he did them because he takes these rules seriously. You see? He said, do what Bob tells you. Well, what Bob's telling you are the laws. We're showing you how to bring your harmony and your life in harmony with all that is, right? Where am I now? Well, you want to take a look at where you are. Take a look at your results. Results always tell the truth. Always tell the truth. Just look at the results. Don't blame. You start blaming, you're toast. See, the second you blame, you put the power outside of yourself. Now, if the power's outside of yourself, you can't use it to get what you want. You got to realize it's inside. And it's not him or her or them or it. That's all a bunch of jazz. Circumstances may not change, but you can change your perception of them. That's why Scott and his perception is so important. We keep saying it. See? Where am I now? And you got to be honest. You see, that really was the point where my life shifted. That was a critical point. Ray said to me, "Have you ever seen me broke?" I said, "No." Guy always had a roll of money on him. He always had money. God, I used to envy that because I never had any. He said, "Did you ever see me sick?" I never had. He was a big... Well, he tried out for the Maple Leafs. He didn't make it, but the hockey team. So, you know, he'd be in damn good shape. He said, "Never saw him sick." He said, "Do you think I'm a happy guy?" He always laughed. He was laughing all the time. I said, "Yeah." Well, he said, "You know, you got to be one of the most miserable people I've ever met, Bob." And he said, "You're always broke." Yet he said, "You're always sick." He said, "Your way's not working. Why don't you try mine?" No, he didn't write a book about that. He just said that. It wasn't an award-winning movie that came out of him. He just said it. And I thought, damn, he's right. My way's not working. Why don't you try mine, he said. Your way's not working. Now you got to ask yourself, is your way working? Because I want you to think of this. Your way may not be working, and you will arrive at that conclusion if it's not, when we go through the exercise. But that doesn't mean you want to change it. Or you might want to, but want isn't the part of your mind that does the work. Want is in the consciousness. That's spirit telling you, grow, and that's why you want. But want doesn't change anything. Want is the preamble for it. It's the precursor, but it doesn't change it. See, that's in your conscious mind. Your conscious mind's not in charge of the instrument that you're living in. Your subconscious mind's in charge of your body. So you may say, "I want to," but then not do it because you can't bring yourself to do the things you have to do. This is rather strange, but it's the way it is. You got to get it inside. Now, you're going to have trouble getting it inside if you don't even know who you are. So you got to think, where am I now? You got to get super honest with yourself. And when he said to me, "Your way's not working, why don't you try mine?" I thought, he's right. He's right. And I thought, what the hell? What am I going to do? You know, you can get so despondent at times you don't know what to do. You don't even know who to listen to. But he said, if you do exactly what I tell you, you can have anything you want. Now, I've said it many times. I did not believe that. I did not believe that you could just have anything you want. I mean, that was, you know, I just couldn't grasp it. Your way's not working. Why don't you try mine? If you do exactly what I tell you, you can have anything you want. Now, Phil Goldfine must have been in a specific necessary vibration, must have been on a particular frequency that day he came to Vegas. Because he and I clicked just like a lock and a key. I'd say it, I could see him taking it, I could see him accepting it, I could see it sinking into his mind. Then I watched him go out and do it. Now, what we didn't tell you about Phil, he was taking his little boy swimming over in college in Santa Monica. I think the coach said, "Do you ever swim?" He said, "I used to swim when I was in school." He was sitting up in the stands about 40 pounds, 50 pounds overweight. The guy said, "Why don't you get in the pool too?" I forgot how many years ago. How many years ago, Phil? 6 years in when? In July. Okay, 6 years ago. And every morning, 5 in the morning, off he is, as busy as he is. And you know, he's in his late 40s. He's in as good a shape as he ever has been in his life. He lost the weight, but he swims with Olympic gold medalists. He competes and he wins. He's won a gold medal in swimming. This all happened in the last 6 years. This guy is like a shark in the water. All while he's doing all those movies, earning all those applause and awards. So somebody will say, is there a limit to what you can do? Yes. But you said it. See, that's where it comes in. And you usually said it unconsciously. He consciously and deliberately set the target. Then he started to understand who he was. And then, where am I now? Things he had to correct. I remember him saying, you know, Bob, he said, you don't understand this industry like animals. And I said, I understand them perfectly. I know exactly what they're like. I said, we're talking about them. We're talking about you. You don't have to be like them just because you're in the industry. I said, you treat everybody the way you want to be treated. Just do it. You don't make a big deal out of it. You just do it. Start giving. Do you know you can't give too much? Give is the basic rule for prosperity. It's so simple and so many, hardly anybody understands it. These are all simple things, you see? Well, where am I now? What are you doing? Is that going to work? Do you know that I got the entire Prudential Insurance Company, Metropolitan Life Insurance, they're the 2 largest insurance companies in the world. I got them to do this. Hi.
Hi.
Okay? They had to do that before 9 in the morning, and they had to ask the prospect to buy $100,000 worth of insurance. That's all they had to change. That's the only thing. Everything we talked about in the seminar was just to back up. Got to be in front of somebody before 9. You have to ask them to buy 100. You don't even have to sell them. You don't even have to sell them. Just give them the opportunity to say no. Paul Hutsey, who's a VP over in Kansas, he said that he believed we raised their sales over $1 billion. We had offices selling more $100,000 policies in a week than they previously sold in a year. This is basic and it's simple. What am I doing now? Am I doing those 2, 3, 4 things that will guarantee that I will earn my Oscar in my industry? That I will be recognized as one of the very best in the industry? See, if you're performing the way God meant you to perform, if you were to perform the way you've been designed and you're able to perform, you'll be able to say, yeah, I know where I am and I like it. I'm going to improve it, but I like it. I'm going to make it a little better. I want to do more. I want to give more. I want to make it. I want to feel better. Everything improves. Everything. Now, if you ask him, that's the way it is. I was looking at a picture of you and Val and all the kids on the Christmas card. That was a great Christmas card. I can't believe the kids are as old as they are. You know, and look. It's all about your own critical choice. Now, we're going to go through a process, probably this afternoon. We're going to go where you're really going to dream. I mean, you're going to go way out there, and you're going to let your mind just go wherever you want. I like the way Diane put it. You asked, how did the Wright brothers get there? How did their combined minds get there? They let it get there. Let is the key word. You want to be totally relaxed and just flow with it. You'll be directed right to what you need. This is so cool and it's so good. But you've got to make the choice of what you're going after. And you're going to find as we really get in and start talking about this one point, you're going to really want it. And that is the only prerequisite. Don't care what it costs, and it doesn't matter where the money's coming from. I like the way I was told one time the Maharishi, when he was bringing transcendental meditation, one of his key people said, that's going to cost a lot of money. He said, where's the money going to come from? He said, wherever it is right now. That's where the money always comes from, wherever it is right now. Now, you're going to make a choice of where you're going to go and what you're going to do. Then you got to pay the price. And if you don't pay the price, it won't manifest. It will not move into form. You have to pay the price. No one can do it for you. No one. This is something you've got to do, and you've got to do for yourself. Now, if you're telling yourself, well, I'm a little too old, boy, you are sure messing it up. If you say, well, I'm too young, not a good idea. You know, well, I'm a female, or I'm a male. We will come up with whatever excuse we have to come up with to justify staying where we are. You know, I don't really need any more money, and I'm doing pretty good at work, and why do I want to improve? You know, why do I want to make it better? I like it the way, I'm happy the way it is right now. Do you ever hear people say that? Every day. You know, I just like it the way it is. Well, here's the point. Nothing stays the way it is. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Law of vibration decrees that everything moves, nothing rests. Everything moves. We literally live in an ocean of motion, no question about it. If you think a body in a coffin is dead, you want to reconsider it. If it was dead, it's not moving. If it wasn't moving, how would it ever change to dust? Think about this. This is real. Everything happens by law. There's a law of vibration. That decrees that everything moves, nothing rests. Everything moves. Everything you see on the table looks like it's sitting still. It's not sitting still at all. Look at it through a microscope and you'll see it dancing right before your eyes. See, what you're looking at isn't even what you're looking at anyway. We don't see with our eyes. We see through our eyes. We see with cells of recognition in our brain. Cells of recognition in my brain says nothing moves. It just stays still. Nothing stands still. And if you think you can stay where you are really snowing yourself. You cannot stay where you are. It is either going to get better or it's going to get worse. Now, some people, it's a little better and then a little worse, a little better and a little worse. I mean, it is a dull existence. They never lived at all. They just put in time here. Everybody can really get into it and really live. But you absolutely must have a goal. You got to have the right goal. You've got to really want it. Now, want's an interesting word. It is a very interesting word. See, the essence of who I am is perfect. Same with you. And that essence, that spiritual perfection in me, is always for expansion and fuller expression. Spirit's always, God's always for expansion and fuller expression, never for disintegration. Wherever you see things going in the wrong direction, we're in charge. All right? Now think. It's always for expansion and fuller expression. The essence of who you are is for expansion and fuller expression. Well, it jabs you in the consciousness. It causes a discomfort, and you're wanting more than you've got. Maybe you want more money, and somebody says, you're greedy, you got enough now. Now, what are you doing? You're really getting messed up now. You can't have too much money. That's absurd. If you've got more money than you need, you're not doing what you should be doing with it. But we'll talk about that later. Listen, we've got to wake up. We're wandering around in the dark. Like when Earl said, when people die, it's a formality because they've been dead for years. That's so true. We've got to understand nothing rests, everything moves. Well, it's moving on a frequency. Everything operates on a frequency, even that chair. You think maybe it's just your phone that operates on a frequency? No. Everything does. It's that we can communicate on the frequency the phone's on. Why did we used to only have a few phones? Because we didn't realize there were so many frequencies. We lived in the dark. Now think. you want something and nothing's created or destroyed, where do you go to get it? If nothing's created or destroyed, everything's already here. Well, if we're going to get it, we got to pay the price. And if we don't pay the price, we don't deserve it. So we go right back to where we started. Where am I going? Well, when you decide where you're going, you want to control the flow, because Spirit flows to and through you. And you've been given the ability to control it. You've been given the ability, and you have been directed to areas where this information is available. That's why you're here. You're not here by accident. Everything happens by law. I'm not here by accident. You're not even sitting where you're sitting by accident. Everything you do is essential to get you to where you're going. Now, you may be going to greater confusion, I don't know. Or you could be going to prosperity, perfect health, wonderful relationships. You decide that. But you are attracting what you need because it's on the frequency you're on. Now, keep thinking. This is super important. You want to control the flow of thought energy. Let it flow freely to and through you, improving everything with which it connects. You see, if we do that, we're working in harmony with the law. There's no effort. It's just a beautiful flow. Did you ever sit in a nice, comfortable chair and turn on a beautiful piece of music, and you're sitting there, and you know every fiber of your being is just flowing with the music, and you feel so good? God, it feels so good. Do you know what feeling is? Feeling is a word we invented to describe the conscious awareness of the vibration we're in. This thing is a mass of molecules in a very high speed of vibration. It's nothing but energy. We call this skin because of the speed it vibrates at. And what's under it is bone because of the speed it's vibrating at. Call this hair because of the speed it's vibrating at. We want to realize that we want to let it flow. We want to be in a very relaxed vibration. If we're not relaxed, we're uptight. If you're uptight, nothing's flowing to and through you. You're originating everything with the uptight concept in your mind. And then when you express the uptight concept, it resonates with more uptight, and you get more of that coming. Uptight attracts uptight. But if you let it flow and you let yourself get in a very calm state, and man, your mind's off here, you see it. Oh, wow. And then it goes off over here, and wow. Oh, my God. And you just stay very calm, and you let it flow. Now, you and I can do that. Let's take a look at this again. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to flip right over now to page 47. But keep track of where you are, because you're going back there. I have just decided that this should work in first before the part that I was going to start on there. Now listen. Let's take a look at you. You are a mass of energy, and you function on frequencies. Now, I want you to think of that. You are a mass of energy. This instrument is a mass of energy. My thought is energy. You are a mass of energy. This is the physical expression of me. Now, really think. This energy is flowing to and through me. And if you photograph, you could actually photograph it, and it would seem like a glow around my body. That is often referred to as a frequency. You can read another person's frequency. You can feel their energy. You get a pretty good idea of where they're coming from, what they're doing. Because everything goes on the inside, shows on the outside. This is not difficult. Anybody can study this, anybody can grasp it, and anybody can understand it. What is your name?
Michael.
Hi, Michael. How are you?
Awesome.
Now, have we ever spent any time together? Never have. So I don't really know you. Well, let me see if I do or not. There's a ray of energy around your body, okay? And I have a mental faculty, we're going to touch on in a minute, that's able to pick that up and translate it. You're aware of this?
I am.
You do it at times.
I do.
You're only good at it sometimes. Okay? And there's another side of you that doesn't agree with the information you get there. You see, the side of you that picks it up is only about 20% of you. That's the right brain side of you. That's the sensitive emotional side. That's the shy side too. And that's the side that picks up the messages. Okay? There's another side of you that's way out there. That's the left brain side. And Michael is one analytical cat, I'm telling you. You analyze a lot of things. You're analyzing this, analyzing that. Like, I wouldn't want to try and get you to do something you don't want to do. You get a stubborn or persistent streak in you about that wide. See, there we go back to perception, whether it's stubborn or persistence. You would make an excellent manager in anything that's creative, in sales or marketing and like that. But I think you know this. If I were selling you something, you told me you couldn't afford it, I would know that you're not telling me the truth, because I know that you could afford it. You've always got a few bucks stuck away for a rainy. You are never going to be broke, not you. Now, some other people would be, but not you. So when I call on you and I walk in, and I tune into the energy, then I know what to say. And I would know you would never be broke either, so you're still the same. See, he's sitting there nodding his head because he thinks I'm talking about him too a lot. He's a very left-brain guy too, all right? Now, there's a side of you that's impulsive. Okay? That's the right brain. That's the side that reads the vibration. And it is impulsive. And it's do this. And the other side cuts in and said, Michael, don't do it. When you do it, you really give yourself hell for doing it. When you don't do it, then you start giving yourself hell for not doing it. You've got a lot of do it, don't do it going on in your mind. The don't do it usually rules. How accurate is that?
Well, I'm the managing broker of a real estate company, and I handle all the marketing.
He's the managing broker of a real estate company and handles all the marketing. See, if that's the position I wanted to fill, it's you, the kind of guy I would hire. And you've always got some money, haven't you?
Well, she handles it all.
She handles it all, and that's okay. I would be very surprised if you haven't got a stash somewhere. She's sitting there laughing like hell because she knows I'm right. You see, she knows I'm right on the money about you. I'd be about 98% correct. Mm-hmm. Now, here's the point. If I can read that energy, you can read that energy. Make sense? Do you know you can? Do you? You're not as good at it as you want to be, though, are you? No. No, I'm talking to you. All right. Now think. Can you see how valuable this is? Well, it's valuable from so many different perspectives, not just for your own benefit in understanding yourself. It's so valuable understanding other people, because you don't have to wonder what they're like. You will know what they're like. If you're selling, like if I walked into a boardroom and there was 7 or 8 people there that I had to sell to whatever I was going to sell, I would know exactly how to sell them. I'd know the ones I should ask how they think, whether they think about it, and I'd know the other ones, how do you feel about it? Because feelings operate right brain. Left brain is the thinking, the analytical part. You see, this is very valuable. Now, everything is on a frequency, and you can get to the point where you become very tuned in. Now, some people say, well, that's psychic stuff. And that's exactly what it is. But let's understand what psychic is. Psyche is a word. It's a word. We're talking about the mind. That's really what psychic is. It's mind. So we're using our mental abilities. Now look at. A frequency is a level of vibration. And we talk about this in all the seminars now. A frequency is a level of vibration. There is an infinite number of frequencies. That's why there's so many cell phones today. You see, we're aware of this, and we're aware of how to work with it to many of the things we want to do. But there's an infinite number. Go back. You are on a frequency. Now, you may be on a frequency for this and another frequency for that, but you, as an individual, operate on frequencies. There's an infinite number. Every frequency is hooked up to the one above and the one below. Now, it's important that we really grasp this, that we understand it. When we really grasp this, a lot of the problems in life will go away because we're eliminating the cause of the problems, which is ignorance. Everything is hooked together. There is no line of demarcation where one thing stops and another starts. Everything, we're all connected. I don't care the color of your skin. I don't care what your gender is. I don't care what your political aspirations or desires or likes and dislikes are. I don't care how tall you are. I don't care what gender. None of this stuff matters. We are all hooked together. Now, this is just a basic fact that we have become aware of. Okay? Now, Einstein said the intuitive mind is a sacred gift. The fact that you can do that, that's a sacred gift. And he said the rational mind is an obedient servant, or a faithful servant. We've created a society that has honored the servant, honored the gift, and forgot the gift. What do we mean? Well, we go by what we see, hear, smell, taste, touch. We don't use our higher faculties. We may not even be aware that they exist. But as we become aware of them and start to utilize them, then everything starts to change. You've got to begin using your higher faculties if you're going to go after something that's meaningful for you. Now look, let that X, that's on page 47, represent where you are. We are coming to a point. This seminar is a little different than probably most others that you've attended, certainly most others that I've run. That X represents where you are. Now think. I want you to really think. Take an honest look at where you are in your life, and you can see how you got there. You can. See, everything that's happened is here, but you know it. Now, some of it may be a long time ago, and you might have forgotten. You can remember, though. You can bring it back to your mind. Just through a sequence of thoughts or a sequence of questions you ask, they'll come back to your mind. Now, ask yourself, how did I get to where I am? Jesus, just dawned on me as I'm saying that. That's exactly what I did in London, England. I was earning all kinds of money. I just used to go down to the Playboy Club on Park Lane, play roulette, shoot crap. Didn't matter to me. I didn't care where the money went because I knew where to get it. This is way back in the 60s. And then, it's like I had some kind of euphoric experience. My head shifted, and I thought, I'm not being very responsible, which was a very strange thought for me to think. You know, why am I doing this? How is it serving me? What's it giving me? And the answer was nothing. Nothing. And that's when I wanted to seriously figure out, who the heck am I? I had no idea. How did I get here? How did this happen? How did I start earning all this money? Now, the answer was there and obvious. I was earning it. I was aware of how to earn it. But I was just looking at the money and going back to when I was always broke. And I started to really think. And I want you to do that. You don't have to be unhappy with where you are. I was fairly happy with where I was. I was just very confused because I couldn't figure out how I got there. It was a pretty positive deal, but I just couldn't see how did I do it, because I didn't think I was good enough to do most of the things that I had done. Now, I want you to really think about it. There's certain points in your life, maybe 5 years ago. What's coming to your mind right now, Mike? About something of the past. Something either good or bad, something that really impacted your life, sort of a turning point.
You did.
I did. Okay, where was that?
Well, we opened up companies based on you sending us videos, and then we actually saw you, we saw the stream, and then we came to see you in person, and this is our second time, so we've just been growing.
Okay. Well, now that would be a significant thing, now, I want you to think there's different things like that. Everybody has these in their mind, okay? Now, I've spent a long time working on this head in my mind, putting this together. I want you to go to page 49. Now, think. Listen to understand. Don't listen to hear. Listen to understand. Some of you are reading, you're not listening. Listen. I want you to relax, totally relax, and I want you to reflect on your own life. There has been things happen in your life at certain points. I remember our first meeting. I remember it very clearly. That was a turning point in my life. When you make a good friend, that's a point that sticks with you. Okay? Now, there's other things that have happened that I could bring up. I can remember when I said, God, I'd love to meet that guy talking about Earl Nightingale. And Bob Carson said, no, you wouldn't. I said, what do you mean I wouldn't? He says, you want to meet him, you go and meet him. I thought, damn, he's right. Now, I could tell you some bad stories too, but, you know, I remember one day I walked into a bar, and I picked a glass up, and I looked around. I thought, there are all bums in here. Then it come through my head, I must be too. I'm always here. And I put it down. I said, I'm never going to pick it up again, and never did. You see? That's a very turning point. Now, you've had them. I want you to reflect on some of them, and then here's what we want to do. When we reflect on them, then we want to ask ourselves, how did that impact me? Why did it impact me? Was it really good? Would you tell them we're busy? Thanks. All right. Now think. If it was something good that happened, is there anything you can do now that would be sort of relative to that that would help improvement? And then you look at another one. Damn, that really made a difference. Really made. Is there anything like that or anybody in my life now like that where I could take that same and, you know? Can you see how you can benefit from it? Yeah, you can. How you doing, William? I've seen you for a long time. My friend's here. You see? Now think. I want you to totally relax and think. What are the key points there? You don't need to write a book on it. Just a couple of lines that bring it back in your mind. Okay? Can you think of something? Jot them down. And don't forget the wax. some of these things that you're thinking of could have been very negative. You don't discard those, write them down. Because what caused that negative thing to happen? Could you have prevented it? Now, are some of those causes, are you involved in now? And if you are, you want to stop it before they manifest in the bad thing again. So it's not just the good things. We want to reflect and not live there. Look at it objectively like a stranger might. So far as we know, we're the only creature on the planet who is able to step outside of ourselves and look at ourselves like a stranger would. That's what we want to do here. We want to reflect back, but do it from a very objective perspective. And say, that was a very significant thing that happened. I remember when I went there. I remember when I did this. I remember when that guy said, you don't really want to meet him. And man, if I'd missed that meeting, I probably wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. That was such a significant statement he made. So we want to start paying attention to what people are saying. Let's listen to understand. Because you see, it's by understanding this concept of frequencies. We're going to go into this further and understand that everything operates on a frequency. See, we say, that's where I am, and this is where I want to go. But I can't go there because I can't see any way how I could get there. I don't have the money. I don't have the talent. I don't have the help. How could I ever possibly do that? Well, the truth is, I couldn't do it. And so what do? I just let it fade. Do you see, if we can go there, we can have it. What did you say your name was? Ishmael. How many of you would like to have more money? How many like to have a lot more money? We gained a couple, right? You want more money? Here. You got more money. Dum, 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 dum. How do you turn this on? It's on. Here, Ishmael. Ishmael said he wanted more money, and I gave him a penny. He's got more money. Is that right?
That's absolutely right.
You can't deny that.
No way.
But that's not what you really wanted. You wanted more than that.
I'd gladly take more than that.
Pardon?
I'd gladly take more than that, for sure.
You'd like to take more. Okay. Here. There. That's more.
Thank you.
Now you got $1.01. That's more, isn't it?
It is indeed.
But I'm betting you probably wanted more than that.
I mean, I'm happy, but sure.
The paradigm just had to get into this conversation, didn't it? There's 100. Now you got 101 cents.
I do indeed.
That's more money, isn't it?
It's definitely more money.
You think you'll remember this?
Definitely.
I don't know. We forget things so easy, don't we, Ishmael?
We do.
Do you go by Ishmael?
Ishmael, Ish, I think
Ish.
is...
Let's do Ish.
Probably the more.
Shorter, yeah. Well, we can get there faster. Okay. Sandy, bring that over to me, will you? I didn't know who I was going to do this with. You're just a lucky recipient. Okay? Thanks, Sandy. Here we've got a frame with a penny, $1, and it says more money, and then I signed it. Then there's 100, and it says more money, and I signed it again. Now, here's what you want to remember. Saying you want more, you might end up getting a penny. You got to be specific-ish.
Okay.
Exactly how much money do you want? We know what Donald wants. He wants 5 billion, 0.7, think something like that, doesn't he? All right? But you get the idea?
Yeah.
You got to be specific. Now, I want you to hang this somewhere that you would be looking at it frequently.
Okay.
Because you see, your brain operates with series. There's just so many cells in there. Everything I've said and done is reflected in a cell in your brain. Did you know that? When you do know that.
I know now.
You know now. Okay, when you look at this, this is a light message. Your eye picks it up. It sends, rifle fires a message to a group of cells in your brain. And it's almost like all these lights in here. You throw one switch, whoo, they all come on. Well, when you look at this, bang, they're all activated. And those cells start increasing the amplitude of vibration, and the images in them, or the concept that it represents on the back in them, and it comes onto the screen of your mind. And this will remind you, you can have more money if you ask for it. But you've got to be specific, or you may end up with a lot less than you want. Does that make sense? Now, the good part of this deal is you got $202.02. Okay? Good. Okay. Now, we want to create impressions. So I thought of that, and I thought I'm going to just pick somebody at random, and I'll make an impression on his mind, but I've also made an impression in all your mind. And frequently when someone says about more money, this will flip back, and then the whole concept behind it. We have such phenomenal potential locked up within us. And the potential is in our ability to gain an awareness of who we are and how we relate to everything. You and I are one with everything. We have awesome powers. Awesome. Do you know, when you stop and think what you can do with this little phone, there's more power in this than was in the computer that took the first rocket to the moon. There's more potential here. That's mind-boggling, and it creates a conflict in our mind saying, how could that be possible? It's so small. You see, we've got power related to size. There's no relationship. Think. We've always been able to do this. Well, we've got these awesome powers locked up within us. And when you go there, what you've got to understand is there is a place. If you took your mind there, it was your mind. That you went somewhere. This is not nowhere. This is somewhere. There's always been a very small select group of people that understood if they could see it, they can do it. I've seen us go into a city, bang, like that. Open an office, we're in business, away we go. I remember my brother Al and I flew into Atlanta one night. We got in around 5 o'clock. We had a list of things we wanted to accomplish in Atlanta. We were going to open an office in Atlanta. We were going to start a business in Atlanta. And when we got to Atlanta, we phoned a real estate office. We got a hold of a real estate agent, and we cut a deal with him. We said, listen, we'll rent an office with you if you spend all day driving us around where we want to go. You're going to sort of be our chauffeur. And the guy said, well, okay. We had him take us to a bank and open a bank account. We had him take us to the newspaper so we could put ads in the newspaper, not just for business, but for help. We would had him take us to a furniture store to get furniture for the office. We had him take us to the telephone company, so we got telephones installed. We got everything done, everything, registered in the Better Business Bureau. We had the whole thing done. Rented the office. Everything complete. The next night, 5 o'clock, 24 hours later, we flew out of that city. About 2 weeks later, we moved into the city. We were in business. We had the staff hired. We had the office furniture in. We had the phone in. We had the bank account. We had everything there, and we were in business. Just boom. no plan, just an idea. And whoom, away we went. We did in different cities. I learned if I can see it in my head, I can just go and do it. How am I going to do it? I don't know. That's the fun part of it. You find out how you're going to do it. And afterwards, you can look back and say, damn, that was really good. Then you get another idea, and you go and do it again. If you can see it, you can do it. But you'll probably need money. You'll probably need help. You'll probably need people. And you want to know something? They're all here. They're all here. Think. Let's suppose there's other people on that frequency. Do you think there'd be people on that frequency that could get you furniture? I think there is. Do you think there's people on that frequency that could help you earn more money? I think there is. Do you think there's people on that frequency that sell furniture, that sell carpets, that rent offices? Oh, I think there is. Ed, when you get on that frequency and you keep yourself on it, you move towards them, they move towards you, and you just find yourself dealing with the nicest people. You think, damn, are they ever cool? I really like these people. Well, of course you like them. You feel comfortable with them. Why do you feel? Because feel is conscious awareness of vibration. You're all on the same frequency. It's like you got a very clear frequency when you're on the phone. Now, if you get on the phone, you don't have a clear frequency, you get garbled messages, don't you? That's the same with people. If you're dealing with people and you are not on the same frequency, you're going to get garbled messages. You don't want to trust garbled messages. You get the idea? I think you do. How many are liking this so far? Well, wait a minute. No, I'm not looking for applause. How many see value in this? How many see that this is really going down a road you hadn't really thought of going down before? You see? This is where the value is. Now, you don't have to wonder if this works. This works. This works. He's got his gold doll. He's got the millions. He's got the Emmy. He's going to get the Tony. Sure as hell. Just sure it's going to get dark tonight. I don't know he's getting that. He has to get it. He's been holding the image. I mean, that's all. Now think. God, I had some statistics. I did see them. I think Tommy just sent them to me again. He did. Here, these are cool. Now, I want you to think what Phil did. Phil could have been considered a loser when I first met him. Now, I don't know if he was, but I would say he was in a lot of areas. He was grossly overweight. He wasn't earning as much money as he was spending, I don't think. Well, maybe he probably was. He's a pretty good manager. But, he wasn't winning in business. He had bad relationships in business. And everything changed so dramatically. What are the odds of that happening? Well, listen. The number of professional filmmakers in the world in 2018 was 3,500,000 of them. 3,500,000 people were doing what he did. The number of feature films released in 2018, 12,198. The number of films that even competed for Oscars in 2018 was only 341. The number of Oscars awarded each year, only 24. A person is 3.83 times more likely to get struck by lightning than win an Oscar. Okay? The odds of winning an Oscar are about equal to the odds of finding a pearl in an oyster. I love that. Okay? 3,072 Oscars have been awarded since they began in 1930. Out of those, only, get this, 3,072 Oscars have been awarded since their beginning in 1930. Out of those, only 26 people have also won Emmys and Tonys. See, less than 1%. Does that help? Tony or Tommy? Yeah, that helps. Stand up. Give this guy a hand. My goodness. Now, why am I doing that? I'm doing it to show you even though the odds are ridiculously against you. If you follow the rules, you can win. Now, when he said, do exactly what Bob tells you, it's not Bob. All I'm doing is telling you something I have studied about how the universe operates, our role in it, God's role in it, your role with God. And it's all by law. I see the law as God's modus operandi. It's how everything happens. It isn't a roll of the dice. It's real. It's how it happens. How many can see an environment like this is very valuable? Well, there's no question about it. We have a place, there's a card on your table. I want you to pick up this little card and put it in your pocket or your purse. It's a little card. It's called PGI Entrepreneurial Marketplace. Put it in your purse or your pocket. This thing could end up worth millions to you. And I'm not exaggerating. Okay? We will talk more about it later because the PGI Marketplace is an environment like this that you can go to anytime. You come home from work and it may be, I don't know, late at night. You just feel like sitting and thinking about a few things. Go to the marketplace. See, the marketplace is there 24 hours a day. We've created an environment that's global. You can set up joint ventures with people from various parts of the world. You can find help that you're looking for that could be very select. But you'll understand this. The people you're going to deal with are people that are studying and understand this. And they want to understand it better all the time. And that's really what this is all about. That's what we're all about. We just keep on working at this and keep doing it. Now, we want to realize that if we can go there, there is a place. Don't let that fade. Now, what is this? This is those crazy dreams. Think of this. I live like I expect a miracle. I just know something's going to happen that's so phenomenal it's going to blow me away. I'm going to sit and say, wow. Holy crow. Wow. Bet you feel like that when you're on your ranch, do you? Wow. I got on my phone one day. People kept phoning me and saying, Bob, empty your phone. Your mailbox is full, Bob. Your mailbox happens often. So anyway, I was stuck in an airport. Now I'm going back a few years. And I thought, this is a mess. So I phoned Gina, and I said, Gina, will you help me? I'm just waiting for a plane, but I've got to clean up my phone. I've got all kinds of stuff in here. I don't even know what it is. And there was one where there's a woman, and I could tell she had an Aussie accent. And she had left a message, but it wasn't very clear. It was a garbled message. But I knew, and then when I saw the phone number, I knew it was an Aussie number. And I thought she said something about a movie, but it was so garbled that I just said, Jana, phone and see if, I said, everything I'm telling you could be wrong. And just see if there's anything here. So anyway, she phoned me back not too long later. No, she said, everything you said was right. It was a woman. She is Australian. She's in Melbourne. And they're here in America, and they're shooting this film. They really wanted you in it, but they couldn't get you. And they couldn't never find you. It had been on my phone for a long time. And they're going back next week, and they're shooting in Aspen all weekend. And Gina says, isn't that strange? Bob's doing a seminar in Aspen this weekend. I hadn't been to Aspen for, I don't know, 2 or 3 years when I went in to do that program. And I just walked from my hotel over to another hotel and sat down and answered questions. Months later, I got a FedEx. And it had a DVD in it. Now, I get quite a few DVDs sent to me for various reasons. And some of them, I just never get around to seeing them. You know, you sort of run out of time. Well, this one sat there for a day or so. And I don't know how to work our player. And so I said to Linda, I said, will you put this in and start it? She said, okay. You know, there would be remarks, why didn't you learn how to do it? Anyway, but at any rate, we turned this thing on, and I thought, holy mackerel, wow, whoa. Oh. And you just know it was going to go into orbit. And of course it did, went viral, really viral. That was the secret, and it's estimated over 500 million people have been impacted with it. Don't go anywhere, people don't know you. Know what you do, like what you do, like that you're a part of this. Now, those things don't happen by accident. They do not happen by accident. I didn't try to get in that. I just kept trying to do a better job today than I did yesterday. That's all you have to do. And try and work by the rules. Try to stick to the laws, the rules. I'm not quite sure how many million that's worth to our company, but it's worth quite a few million. And understand, it's never an accident. There's no accidents, absolutely none. You and I have the unique ability to literally create stuff, things, ideas. But we got to understand what we're doing. Otherwise, it's just a dumb daydream. Well, that'd be nice. You know, that'd be really cool, you know. If you can see it, you can do it. I remember getting a call from the St. Kilda Football Club in Melbourne. I was working over in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, and they called and they wanted me to come over and spend 4 or 5 days with the St. Kilda Football Club in Australia. So I thought, well, that'd be different. And so I said, okay. I was able to leave for a few days. So I left KL and I went down to Melbourne and I went in the club. And I wandered around the club and I said, what is your objective? Well, of course, they wanted to win the premiership or whatever they call it, the top, you know, in their league. And I said, do you get an award for that? And they said, well, yeah, you get a cup. Yeah. And I said, I see. I said, where would you put it? Well, they put it in the awards cage or chest or whatever they call it. I said, where is that? Well, they said it's a place in the club. The club was a big building. It was and so I said, could I see it? So they took me there, and they had all these little cups and stands and, you know, things. The thing was packed. I said, where would you put it? Is this a big award? Is it a pretty good size? I had a vision that it was a good size. And they said, oh, yeah, it's big. And I said, well, where would you put it? There's no room here. Well, we'll find room for it if we get it. And I said, well, if you don't make room, you're not going to get it. You got to make room for the good you desire. You got to create a space for the good that you desire. And what you want to understand is that nature abhors a vacuum. When you create a space, it'll get filled. What's the young Canadian guy that won the Masters? Yeah, Mike Weir. I have a picture in the house of Mike Weir, an autographed picture of him with his Masters trophy. Do you know, Mike Weir's not really a great golfer. Mike Weir's a damn good golfer, and he did win the Masters. But he's not up there with, you know, some of the top names that we recognize. But he won the Masters. He created a Masters case in his house when he built his house, a place to put the Masters trophy. That's all this one case was for. Wasn't for anything else. Nothing else was going to win it. And he won the Masters trophy. I remember when he won it. We were driving. We were working with somebody that works with Mike. We're on the phone. What's he at now? Where is he now? How's it going now? You know, we're in the car. We're trying to think, geez, I wish I was down there watching this. You see? He created a space for the good. Have you created a space for the good you desire? Do you know exactly what you want? Can you be specific? Now, you want to remember Ish. He said, I want more money. I gave him more money. I gave him a penny. He had more money. But he agreed, yeah, he wanted more than that, so I gave him $1. Now he has a good $1. That's more money. You see, if we're not specific, we've got to realize we're dealing with an infinite power that operates in an exact way. It is totally deductive, meaning it only has the ability to accept, cannot reject, and it cannot change anything. Whatever you're thinking, that's exactly what you get. Every prayer is answered. Every prayer. Now, problem with most people don't understand what prayer is. Most people think this is prayer. This, God help me. That's making a noise on your knees. Prayer is the movement that takes place between spirit and form with and through us. The second we ask, we've already got it. Now it's got to go through the process of manifestation. And that's governed by a law called, what is it? Do you know? Who knows? The law of gender. The law of gender decrees that every seed has a gestation or an incubation period from the moment it's originated until it's manifested. Now we say, well, I don't need to study all this, do I? If you want to reach big goals, you do. The odds of you doing it in an unconscious state would be rather slim. But the beautiful truth is you can do anything. Sandy set a goal that she was going to be my partner. I didn't want a partner. What do I want a partner for? You see? Then she said, and I'm going to learn to do what you're doing. And I said, is that right? She not only learned it, she's getting very good at it. But you know why she's good at it? Because she does it before she teaches it. It means she knows it. This is so important we get this. But the most important thing is that when we go there, we got to know there is a place. There is a specific frequency. And if you get on that frequency, you're going to attract what you need to you, because that's where it works. Now, we may go over the line here a minute. Yeah, I will, but that's okay. It's my seminary. Okay. Where the hell is that? No. I'm not supposed to have it right now. That's where we'll start when we come back. You're going to start at a real good place, and we don't go over time. All right? Don't be in a rush. We've got lots of time to do what has to be done. Don't get impatient. I say that because I probably would. But I want you to be patient, and I want you to know that I'm going to unfold a thing in front of you so that you will understand. That doesn't mean you're going to do it, but the odds of you doing it are going to increase substantially by understanding what I'm going to explain. Now, as we go through this, I'm going to show you exactly how things happen and what your responsibility is. And you can, if I did it, you can do it. All right? And this is the way it's going to work. And when you see how the whole thing's laid out, it makes such a difference because you know how it's going to unfold. You don't know what's coming, and you don't know where it's coming from. You don't know when it's coming, but you do know it's going to come when it's supposed to, and it'll be exactly what you need to help you get to the next step, whatever it is you want. because it's all here and everything operates by law, the whole universe. Such a beautiful thing to start to understand. And we are God's highest form of creation. The little creatures out there, they couldn't even come close to what we can do. They can do marvelous things, and you can train them to do a lot of marvelous things. But you and I, we've got that godlike ability. We're not God. We're an expression of. We are created in that image. And when we start to understand, it becomes so obvious. You start to think, how could I miss it? So you see, what we want to do is we want to go to that place. That place is the place you want to go to. Now, we're going to suggest that you go and pick out 4 or 5 of these places. You may want to build this company. You may want to, like, Phil. Here he is sitting there, 40, 50 pounds overweight, and he wants to be an Olympic swimmer. And he's in his 40s. Didn't matter. See, those are the reasons why it can't be done. We didn't go there, just how it can. Okay? Now, we're going to go in and play with that this afternoon, but it's going to be really interesting. I want you to, though, understand this is not a speed test we're on. We have lots of time to do what has to be done. And we're going to take it, and we're going to take it in the right time so that the idea is unfolding before your eyes, and then you're going to understand. That's why Solomon said, in all you're getting, get understanding. And when we understand that, then we can do. Because I know that you want to do greater good. I know you do. We have a friend of mine here, Cynthia Kersey, and her husband. But Cynthia had such a beautiful idea when she was a girl. She was 50. And she said, Bob, I'm having a birthday party. Would you like to come? I said, okay. She said, I'll sell you a ticket. I thought, oh, this is going to be good. Now, she helps thousands and thousands of people today. That was the start. She took the money from the sale of the ticket and started to feed people that were underfed. She started to heal people that were sick. She started to give people clear water that was drinking poisoned water. Changed the lives of a lot of people. We're going to get you to talk about that, but not today, okay? And you're going to understand what she did because she got more money. And the more money she gets, the more good she does. Now, that's the way it is for you and me. Money is an instrument that enables you to extend the good you do far beyond your own presence. And that's really what you want money for. Now, if you think it's going to make you a better person, you're disillusioned. It won't make you a better person. It will make you, if you are a nice person, you'll probably become a nicer person. But it is not got the ability to make you better. It'll make you more of what you already are. Money is an expander. It's a magnifier is really what it is. And it'll help you do greater good. And you should be able to have all the good things you want. You know, live the way you want to live. You should live in abundance. I mean, it's your birthright, you know. So that's the way you want to live. Well, this is the lesson that's going to help us with that. And then we're going to go back and start over. Where am I going? And there's information there that we want to start studying. And then it'll help us look at this different. Now, when I come back to the same page a little later on, I'll guarantee it'll look a little different. It's phenomenal the way it works. Gina, there she is.
Give Bob a big hand. Isn't he amazing?
Come on.
He really is.
Thanks, Gina.
Okay. So we've nourished our minds. Now we're going to nourish our bellies a little bit. If you can please close your books, put them on your seats again. VIPs, we have a lunch right across the hall. If you were given a dietary card in your name badge, they'll be at the back of your badges if you told us you're vegetarian or vegan or whatever it was. All you need to do is hand that to the server next door. Take your seat and just hand it to the server. There are 4 people I'd like to see at the back of the room. Well, Kim would like to see you. She's got a pink jacket on back there. It's Bumju McLennan, Candy Mitzel, Adam Eccles, and Casey Mitzel. We just want to give you some gluten-free cards. We're going to come back here at 2 p.m., please. For those of you who are not in VIP, the hotel has a really lovely buffet for you today. They don't normally do a buffet, but they do it for us to get you in and out. So thank you. We'll see you at 2 o'clock, everyone.
This has been such an amazing morning. I hope you're all enjoying it. If you could go ahead and tell us your favorite part and what you're learning in the chat, that would be wonderful. I was reading something the other day and it said you have to think something about yourself, so you might as well think that you're exceptional. You might as well think you're amazing and the best that's ever done it. And I love that so much, and I feel like that really speaks to what Bob and Sandy have been talking about, and it reminds me of our good friend and amazing client, Phil Goldfine. And Phil is the one that Bob has been talking about who's won all the awards. He's clearly in the top 1% of his field and what he's doing, and he's just an incredible person and an incredible student. Now, whenever Phil was telling his story last night, he mentioned that he started in the Bob Proctor coaching program, and he's had an incredible journey as a student over the last 10, 12 years. And this is his starting point, so we're going to play you a quick video about the Bob Proctor coaching program, and we'll see you back at 2 o'clock Pacific time.
What keeps people stuck month after month, year after year? 90-some% of the population are stuck. You've got people graduating with all kinds of degrees, and the results wouldn't indicate that they know very much at all. Most people don't understand what's going on inside. There's something that's stopping them, and it's called a paradigm. See, when paradigms are in control, nothing changes. Nothing. And that's why most people, they get the same results year after year. People know how to do better than they're doing. The problem is they don't know why they're not doing what they know how to do. See, it's the paradigm that produces the result. And if we're going to change the result, there's only one way to do it. Just one. You're going to change the paradigm.
A man's environment is a merciless mirror of him as a human being. And if he thinks his environment can stand a little improvement, all he has to do is improve, and his environment will improve to reflect the changing man.
All knowledge, all power is 100% evenly present in all places at the same time. Your spiritual DNA is perfect, so is mine. There's perfection within. What we've got to learn is draw it out. I've spent tens of thousands of hours both studying and teaching this material. The expertise that I've developed has enabled me to distill all these hours, years, and all this experience and knowledge into something that you can immediately put into action and improve the results in your life. You see, I live the way I want to live today. I do exactly what I want to do. And you can too. Our program is based on you, on why you're doing what you're doing, why you're not doing many of the things you want to do, and then we show you how to change them. And I take you through a series of various programs. These are all based on universal laws. If it's money you're after, we will show you how to earn it. If it's to build your company and expand your business, we'll show you how to do that. This is an extraordinary coaching program. It's quite different from any other. This isn't 6 weeks. This isn't 30 days. This is a 13-month program. 13 months. We talk about coaching, we're talking about something that's got some depth. I'm going to expand your level of awareness by sharing my 57 years of study of the mind, and by identifying and changing the paradigms, the habits, and the beliefs that are preventing you from creating the life you want, so that you can finally achieve the time and money freedom that you've been longing for. You see, I'm going to explain how and why universal laws govern our life, along with the real-life implementation techniques, so that you're going to make use of this good information rather than just gathering it. You'll have access to the support that you need to reach and exceed any goal you choose. I want you to be able to take this program and really win. Whether you're doing well already or you're doing as poorly as I was when I got into this some 57 years ago, you'll reach your full potential, the clarity to see opportunities as they arise and the confidence to pursue them with tenacity, resolve, and optimism. See, at the end of the 13 months, you're really going to need a telescope to look back, see where you are now. Trust me, I'm going to show you a better way of life.